Hey, Prime members, you can listen to Crime and Sports early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Download the app today.
Rakuten is the smartest way to save money when you shop because you earn cash back at over 3,500 stores. Fashion, beauty, electronics, home essentials, travel, dining, concert tickets, and more. Your favorite stores like Lowe's, Levi's, and Nike pay Rakuten to send them shoppers. And Rakuten then passes on a part of that payment to its members as cash back. You're already shopping at your favorite stores. Why not save while you're doing it? It's a no-brainer. Membership is free and easy to sign up. Get the Rakuten app now and join the 17 million members who are already saving. Cashback rates change daily. See Rakuten.com for details. That's Rakuten. Your cashback really adds up.
In the depths of an Atlanta forest, a clash between activists and authorities ends in tragedy. I'm Matthew Scher, and on my new podcast, We Came to the Forest, we expose the hidden truths behind a shootout that left one activist dead and countless lives forever changed. Binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest ad-free on Wondery Plus.
Everybody, and welcome back to Crime and Sports.
Yay!
Oh, yay indeed, Jimmy. Yay indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I'm Jimmie Whisman.
Thank you so much for joining us today on more Crime and Sports. We have some crazy stuff for you today, obviously. A rare female athlete on the Crime and Sport. If you listen to Crime and Sports for all 423 now episodes.
Unbelievable.
They're rare. I think we've had
seven.
Maybe like 7 or 10. There's usually female athletes don't get in trouble very much is the thing.
Yeah.
There's plenty of female athletes. They just kind of keep their noses clean.
Right. And then when they do, boy, oh boy.
Oh, it's wild. So crime in general is obviously, there's way more crimes from men anyway. So then you add athletes in there. It's a whole different thing. But we'll get to all that. Before we do, though, very quickly, want to say shutupandgivememurder.com is where you get everything. Merch, tickets to live shows for Small Town Murder. Come get your tickets for the virtual live show for Halloween for Small Town Murder. We're going to have costumes on. We're going to look like total assholes. It'll be great.
Idiots, yeah.
So it'll be a really fun comedy show, just like a regular live show, but in your living room. Right. So check that out. Shutupandgivememurder.com. Also, while you're there, check out, well, not there, but somewhere else, check out Patreon.
Hey!
Patreon.com/crime in sports. Here's the deal there. Anybody $5 a month or above, you get bonus episodes. And I'm talking shitloads of them.
So many.
Immediately, you're going to get hundreds upon subscription. And then you're going to get new ones every other week. One Crime in Sports, one Small Town Murder. And how much of that are we going to give to them?
I think we'll give them all.
All of it? Oh my goodness!
Absolutely.
Jimmie, he's crazy. Everybody,
what are we gonna parse? What ones we don't give them?
He's crazy.
Give them all of it.
We're giving it all away. Everybody, we don't care. So there we go. It's the crazy Jimmies, all of the two of us. So we're
wacky.
The prices
gems.
are low. So this week, what you're going to get for Crime and Sports, we're going to do more theme park disasters.
Oh, yeah.
Shit, yeah. They're so popular, we have to do them quarterly because people, as soon as we're done with them, they're like, when's the next theme park disaster one?
And as soon as we do it, then a viral theme park disaster happens.
Because they always happen, because it's, as we'll find out, everywhere's dangerous.
They seem to be pretty common.
Yeah, for Small Town Murder, we are going to do, it's back again, the all-violent felon edition of the prisoner dating game.
Here it is.
We sit Jimmie down, and I'm going to set him up with 4 young ladies and 4 young men who have nothing in common except they are all incarcerated for violent felonies. He is going to pick one of each based solely on their dating profile, what they've told us. And then once he picks them, we get to tell him, you know, what they've done, who they are, how horrible they are, and how much danger he's in. So it's a lot of fun. We can't wait for it. The prisoner dating game. Check that out. Patreon.com/crime in sports. And you get a shout out at the end of the show.
Okay.
We'll fuck your name all up. Don't worry about it. So that said, let's get into this right away.
Here we go.
Let's get into it with Nicole Bass, we're going to talk about today. Now, Nicole Bass she's a female bodybuilder and wrestler and porn actress and ish. I got a stand-up set here we can look at. We're going to watch. Oh yeah, we got all of that stuff. She is, for lack of a better term, a big bitch. Let's just say that. She is a fucking big woman. I mean, and this will come up a lot because the time she is out is the time when China was a huge deal, Joni Laurer, and she makes China look like a fucking nothing. She makes her look
a little
tiny.
girl.
A little girl.
She looks like a dainty little lady.
And China was huge, but China's 5'10", which is very big for a woman. But Nicole is 6'2". She's a fucking big. Boy, and her shoulders. Like, you could tell China, she's a big woman, and they put her on a bunch of steroids, and she looked even bigger. This girl is humongous no matter what. She's just a big person.
Even if she wasn't a bodybuilder, she's
big.
huge.
She's a big, like her shoulders are wide. She's a big girl. So she's born August 10th, 1964. Nicole was, Okay. So in the 90s there, she was
elderly.
She was over 30 when she was, doing all this shit. She started wrestling at, 33 or something, which is extremely old to start wrestling. I mean, that's, that guys only used to do that back in the day if they were like NFL players that finished up their NFL career, they'd start wrestling. But other than that, it's, they'd have to be athletes. So she's born in Queens, New York, by the way, which explains her accent. Yeah, she's a New York girl. Like I said, very, very large here. She's born in Queens, like we said. It's interesting here. It's very hard to find like childhood details on her.
Yeah.
I feel like something bad happened to her, it feels like, in her childhood, and she doesn't talk about it often because you've seen her on Howard Stern how many times, and did she ever talk about her childhood?
I don't recall. I think I remember her saying she doesn't have a good relationship with her parents, but I don't remember anything abuse-wise.
Something. It seems like something had to happen to her, or the fact that she's very big plays a lot on her personality.
Oh.
Because she feels very awkward and very out of place her whole life because she's always the biggest girl anybody's ever seen. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that's a lot. Like now we have like the WNBA. You see girls that are 6'5" and stuff. Sure. You didn't see women who were 6'2" in 1980. It just didn't exist that much.
And that's probably a portion of, it's probably all of why Howard Stern loved her because he loves the anomaly, the weird thing.
Yeah.
And that's certainly it.
And
I wish I would. Shit, I should.
She's a spectacle, is the way he would look at it.
Yeah. My friend Richie would know all about everything that's probably happened to her. I'll bet she's divulged a lot to him.
Maybe. So she went to high school in Florida. So she, I guess, grew up down there. She went to Coral Gables High School and graduated there. And she got into bodybuilding first, which makes sense because as big as she is, it makes a lot of sense here. This was in Miami. She said when she first got into bodybuilding right after she graduated high school, she felt like she was overweight. She weighed 165 pounds at the time, which is not overweight for someone who's 6'2". That seems healthy.
That's less than
thin.
I weigh at 5'9".
Yeah, that's not overweight, but she didn't like the way she was proportioned or whatever the fuck here. So she decided she was going to develop and bodybuild. She saw women doing it and was like, oh, look at that. I could shape this into whatever I want. So here's an article from 1997 from New York Newsday about her and her bodybuilding because she came on the scene hard too. I mean, she exploded onto the scene just because physically
she's big.
She's different than the other women. So this article says, quote, "It was tough to be a tall, overweight, and top-heavy teenager.
Yeah.
She began weight training at age 19 after picking up a magazine and seeing bodybuilders such as Bev Francis, who was her coach at the time. And she says, this is Nicole talking, bodybuilding is the only sport I can do. Now, she's legally blind in her left eye since birth, by the way.
Really?
Yes. So that's going to be difficult. When you get into wrestling, you need depth perception in wrestling.
Sure.
So a lot of the times people will constantly say the phrase, she has two left feet in the ring. That's like every wrestler says that.
Well, that's because she's one-dimensional. She's not seeing in stereo.
Exactly. Yeah. So you need depth perception. If you're running at someone, you're going to hit them. You need it to be the exact right thing or else you're going to look awkward.
I don't think I knew that.
Yeah,
I know I didn't know that.
That doesn't help any.
Yeah.
She said, I would have been a great basketball or tennis star, but I can't see the ball. She said, yeah, I'm huge. That would have been great, but I can't see shit. She said it was women like Bev who opened the door for women like me back then. So they go on to say in the article, back then was when big biceps were in, when Conan and Rambo were kings, when Jane Fonda workout tapes and Cher videos were chic. It was this type of attention that Marie loved about the sport. It was so cool when I first started. This is her? Yes. This is, I guess Marie is her real name, I think, is what
Last
we're going
name?
with. Yeah, I guess so. Because she said it was exciting for a woman to have muscles and walk out in the public and say they would look and say, "Oh my God, look at her." And I was excited that they recognized that I had biceps and that I was different and unique, even if they thought I was a freak.
Yeah, it was not, "Oh my God, look at her." It was, "Oh my God, look at her."
Holy shit. It was people went, "Holy shit."
Yeah.
And we'll talk to wrestlers later who would like say, like, when you see this girl, like, seriously, like, don't stare type of thing. They'd go, they'd say, don't sell it too hard because that's fucked up. You know what I mean? They go, don't sell her, because people would see her and go, "Holy shit. What
we
the
know
fuck?"
she's shocking.
Yeah. Especially a lot of those wrestlers in like ECW were 5'10", 5'11", and she's not only taller than them, but bigger than them. It's like, what the fuck? So she also, here's the thing though, she's really a girly girl type girl is the thing.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So it's pink?
Everybody says that. Like, she would much rather have been a petite, feminine, girly girl, but that's just not the cards she was dealt. So
That's too bad.
yeah, she liked to ride horses, which, wow, okay. Horse, get under me.
Fucking horse.
I said, get under me, horse. Okay. Yeah, climb on top it. Now ride. But it hurt. I said go. Okay. Stop squeezing me with your thighs, please.
She rides a horse and can touch the ground.
Yeah. She is strong. And she also likes to read. She likes hairless cats as well. She's been into that. She had 3 hairless cats. She likes those. Yeah, gross. Touching some cat's weird skin. Yeah. So, no. I don't do that or those hairless dogs either. Get some fucking fur like a normal dog.
Hairless dogs, though, their fur feels like a pig. Like it's like coarse
it's
and
coarse
weird.
and hairy. It's hair. It's weird.
Hairless cats it's
Skin.
just, it's a raisin with eyes. It's
weird.
so weird.
Yeah, it is. Well, so the hairless dogs are. They look like a nutsack hairless dog.
Yeah,
they have like
good.
they have ball hair on them. That's what they are. Like sparse ball hair.
Yeah, sparse and coarse.
Yeah, that's exactly what they are. They're fucking disgusting. So she ends up, like I said, getting into bodybuilding, and this is in like the 80s. She gets into bodybuilding. So she's into bodybuilding over 10 years before anybody ever sees her in the wrestling or that kind of world. But Howard Stern,
interesting because that's not really training for wrestling, because that's just like breaking your body down for 10 years, really.
But a lot of people too. There was a lot of guys back in the day that would start out as bodybuilders. You know what I mean? There's like Ultimate Warrior, Sting, guys like that. They were bodybuilders. That's all they were into. But they got into wrestling because it was something you could get paid to do for having a giant body. That's it.
And then your body's just beat.
Oh, beating the shit. Absolutely.
Crushed.
And that's probably doesn't help her either, because she's been bodybuilding and beating her body down for over 10 years when she starts, and she's in her mid-30s. So your body is not going to take well to that, probably.
Now run and bounce off those ropes.
Yeah, absolutely. Later on, she'll even win the NPC National Bodybuilding Championship in 1997. Wow. So that's later. But still, in 1985, she gets married. And she marries a guy named Bob Fuchs, and her legal name will be Nicole Fuchs after that, Fuchs, Fuchs. Yeah. She marries this guy, and this guy, seems to be a large range of opinions on this guy, from seem like a nice guy to he's a suitcase pimp. Those are the extremes of the spectrum of people's opinions on this guy.
What exactly is a suitcase pimp?
We'll get to that. We will have a porn star explain to us what a suitcase pimp is later on.
Oh my God.
Yeah, Jasmine St. Clair will explain to us what a suitcase pimp is later. Yep, don't you worry about that. So 1985, she is second in the NPC Eastern USA Championships in the heavyweight division.
The year after she won it, or
no, she wins it in 97, but in 85 she's second in the heavyweight division, the Eastern USA Championships of it. In 97 she won the national championships of NPC. Then in 86 the IFBB, which is another bodybuilding federation, in the competition for Ms. International.
Right.
So I guess that's like Ms. World type of deal.
Yeah.
Ms. International. In the heavyweight division, she finished 16th there.
All right.
So April 3rd, 1986, this is fun here. This is an ad for the 1986 Tri-State Bodybuilding Competition Open. And there is all the shit. It's pre-judging show at 2 o'clock. So I guess you just show up and watch them. Teenage men and women. So teenager, common, men and women. So they have teenage kids too. At Martin Luther King Jr. High School Auditorium. For some reason here. They got that. And
that's the Tri-State one? That's Connecticut, New York, New Jersey? Is that right?
This is in New York City, rear of Lincoln Center, 122 Amsterdam Avenue at 66th Street. And they have the word prejudging next to Martin Luther King's name, which is hilarious.
Don't like that.
And Nicole Bass, it says she's like the only person. She's billed. Nicole Bass, it says, wow. Eastern American champion, the world's largest female bodybuilder, quote unquote, it says under it.
Yeah.
So she's just like going to be on there as a spectacle for people to look to. She's a draw for the competition, apparently.
And that's an interesting way of wording it, too, because she's how do you expect us not to look at somebody as a freak when you describe them literally as a freak?
As the world's largest female bodybuilder. Come stare at her.
Pay a nickel.
Come on.
It's that sideshow kind of mentality.
2 bits of gander. Come on in the tent. Look at her. Ain't she?
The world's largest.
Ain't she huge? She'll beat you for $1. That's what it is. If you're into that.
Yeah.
She takes on all comers. So June 20th, 1986 is another Daily News advertisement, and it's the 1986 New York City Bodybuilding Championships. Dan Laurie presents, and it says under him, trainer of champions, apparently. Oh, yeah. And there's a picture of the guy that's like one of those, check this out here, look. It's like one of those like 50s Jack LaLanne pictures where he's got his hands on his hips and he's like, look at me, I'm doing the Superman strong pose.
Superman pose, that's what it is.
That's exactly it. And then there's some other chick with a huge perm that's flexing. And this is at the High School of Fashion Industries on West 24th Street. And it says, meet Nicole Bass, female animal.
Golly, guys, come on.
Female animal? What the fuck does that mean? Meet Nicole Bass, female animal, learn about bodybuilding and fitness. Tickets are $10 and $15 for this, by the way, to watch people.
To see a freak.
To watch locals flex and take a gander at a freak.
Yeah.
Now, here she is. Here's a picture of Nicole. We will show you from 1986. Check her out.
Wow.
Yeah.
She's got a big perm, too.
She's got a big old blonde perm at this point because it's 1986.
Grimace, God,
she's in mid-lift. She's lifting. She does this picture. She looks like a male bodybuilder with a silly wig on. That's what she looks like.
She looks like a male bodybuilder dressing like the lead singer of Twisted Sister. What was it? Dee Snider.
Dee Snider. Yeah. She's got a little "we're not going to take it" in her there. So Nicole said women have to understand they can be in this sport and still be female. She's trying to say, like, listen, I'm still feminine. Because that's the whole thing with her is she's not mannish. She wants to be very feminine. It's just people look at her and they go, holy shit, bro, what's up with you? Nice guns, dude. Like, they can't help it.
She always had big hair, too.
Oh, yeah. Big hair, big everything. Yeah. So this article says Nicole Bass is a 6'2", 190-pound bodybuilder who has 17-inch biceps and claims to be the biggest, heaviest, tallest, and strongest women's bodybuilder ever to enter a sanctioned event. Bass will be one of the favorites in the heavyweight division of the 1986 Women's and Mixed Pairs Bodybuilding Championship Saturday at the James L. Knight Convention Center. And she says this, you know what, let's give her an in their own words. Let's give her a voice. Yeah. You sing it, sister. What do you got to say?
She had a fun voice, too.
Oh, she does. You'll hear it later on the stand-up. In their own words, quote, I hate walking around with my veins all sticking out, but to be great in this sport, you have to be cut fine. She says, I used to be all soft and mushy, but women have to understand that they can be in this sport and still be female.
Yeah.
So she's like, I don't want to look like this, but this is the cards I was dealt.
Right.
So this is what I look like. She said Bass's obsession with bodybuilding began the day she walked into a South Miami gym wanting to shed some of her fat-filled 165-pound body.
Oh, you guys.
Jesus Christ. Calm down. Fat filled.
Oh, I'm going to fucking...
Okay.
I'm going to go jump off a building.
I'm 6'4", 195 pounds. And I'm a pretty...
You fat bitch.
I'm a pretty thin guy. You know what I mean? Like, I haven't been called fat since I was 12. We'll put it that way. So for her to be 2 inches shorter and 30 pounds lighter and have boobs... She's probably not fat at all, just not muscular.
She did have boobs.
Well, she got a boob job later.
Yeah,
too,
she got
says.
implants.
But
sure, but there were certainly boobs there
to begin with. Yeah, that's what they say. She was top heavy, and so her fat-filled 165-pound body, and quote, to meet some of the cute guys I always saw going in there. She said too. Mm-hmm. She wanted us to meet the guys. Her waist, now 26 inches, was close to 33 inches at the time, and threatened to expand geometrically because of her addiction to ice cream. You fat bitch. Are you kidding me?
She loves Haagen-Dazs.
Yeah. Being a non-athlete and self-described pig-out artist at the time, she said her future just looked rounder. She's just going to keep getting bigger. She said, now it's just fish, vitamins, and vegetables, and an occasional off-season pig out. She says, quote, I'm a genetic freak. I don't need to take steroids or any kind of artificial crap. Yeah, right. That's what they all say. Hulk Hogan was saying that too. Said Bass as she effortlessly curled 95-pound dumbbells at North Miami Super Bodies gym.
She's just rolling them up.
95
pounders.
I don't need steroids.
Just twisting her wrist on it. Get the fuck out of here.
Hold on, I've been growing balls. Let me tuck them. I don't need testosterone. Wait a second.
Wow.
I got these. I don't know what these are, but they hurt if you kick me, and they're just dangling from my vagina at this point.
If I sit on them, oh boy.
I'll tell you what. She said, just give me my sushi and occasional ice cream, and I'm happy.
That's how she did that?
Okay. Jacked, ripped, veins popping out, cut.
A little bit of mahi.
Yeah. Just give me some spicy tuna roll and a Ben & Jerry's Chunky Monkey, and boy, I will rule the world. The fuck out of here.
Rocky Road and salmon. That's how I got here. Sure.
That's hilarious. And we know, too, back then, all those guys were on massive amounts of steroids. Even when the wrestling, Vince McMahon tried to start the WBC, the World Bodybuilding Championships, that was at the time all the steroid stuff was coming down on him. So he went to the bodybuilding guys and was like, yeah, you guys got to do this clean. And they were like, yeah, right. And anyway, hilarious. Okay. Sure. Okay, well, I'll be 210 pounds walking out there. That's not how this works.
Because peanut butter does that.
No, people don't look like that normally. No. That's people now, too. That it's so common for people to be on shit now.
I'm shocked by it, too, by the way.
It's weird because
normal-ass dudes.
No, but it's pretty much if you're 40 and a guy and you go to the doctor and you're just like, I don't know, I'm feeling like 40 and sluggish. They'll give you HGH. That's what they give you. Because I know guys that would do it, and they're just, they're fucking ripped, and it's like, that's not natural. That is not, you're not supposed to look like that when you're 51. That's not how nature is made. It's just not how it works.
Good for you to be doing it, but
I suppose
if you don't care at all about in 20 years the low sodium diet you're going to be on, so your heart doesn't explode.
Yeah, because it can't be good.
No,
nothing that can make you look like that when you're in your 50s can be good for you. It just can't be. It's not great.
Right. It's taking everything that you'll look like that's anything positive from 40 to 90 and condensing it to 5 years.
Yeah.
You get to look like those years for 5 years.
If you get off of it, it's going to look like somebody released a clothespin in the back of you that made all your skin fall forward and flop because you're just going to be a mess. So 1986 at the NPC Nationals, she finishes 8th in the heavyweight division. 1987 at the IFBB North American Championships in the heavyweight division. They're all the heavyweight division. I don't need to say that. There's no 300-pound chicks in another division. She's 4th in that one. 87 NPC USA Championships. She's 7th. The Northeastern States NPC in 1988, and she is 1st in that. Wins it all.
Yeah. I'm looking at a picture of her in 88, James, and
she's ripped.
fucking unbelievable.
Yeah,
she looks like a skeleton, or she looks like, you know, the muscle diagram in your fucking. It looks like that. It looks like there's just no skin on this unbelievable amount of muscle.
Crazy action figure shit. She looks.
Wow.
Like. She looks like a human action figure, like a human He-Man figure. It's fucking silly.
The bottom abs are just one giant ab.
Yeah, she's jacked. Obvious, not on anything though. All natural right there, baby.
Look at Tilapia did this.
Just I what can I say? I love eel. I just love it. I love unagi. It's all I can think about.
Trout for breakfast, unagi for lunch.
Yeah, and then I do
myself a mahi at dinner.
Yeah, a little salmon tuna in there. Boy, I am set, ready to go. And I wake up and this is what I look like. It's wild.
I eat a little bit of fish too. It's called cod, battered in fucking beer. That's the only way I'm eating fish.
She's not like it. You're not a big fish guy.
Not like that. Jesus.
1989 NPC at the Extravaganza, she finishes third. And then 1990 NPC Nationals, she finishes second. So she's a big deal in this. And no matter whether she finishes first or seventh, she's the spectacle everybody talks about at the end.
And from 87 to 91, she's just like a goddamn legend. She's everything to this.
And it's, you have to, people are probably wondering, why isn't she winning all these competitions? Because in bodybuilding, it's so strange. Like they get it down to like, well, that person's tricep muscle is slightly more sculpted than that. It's not a matter of, holy shit, what the fuck?
Right.
Which would be us.
That's what it is.
You win.
She's
that's
winning
a
everything.
big bitch. Yeah, holy fuck. If I'm scared of you, you win. That's how it works. And I'm terrified of you.
Calf muscle pops harder when they fucking flex their toes or whatever. That person wins for whatever reason.
Yeah, and they don't have to look like that. That's why it's a difficult game. May 10th, 1991, there's an article here in the Daily Herald. It's an ad for the grand opening of Vince's Fitness Center. Vince. Hey, Vince, open up your fitness center, will you? This is, where the fuck? Oh, no, no, it's Florida. It's got to be Florida.
Okay.
No, it's got to be Florida down here. Downtown Everett. Where the fuck is Everett? I don't know.
Washington? I don't know.
Who knows? Guest appearance, Nicole Bass, flying in from New York, known as, quote, the human animal. The human animal?
I mean, humans are animals, by the way.
All 100%.
Yeah.
She's the human. She's just like, hello, I'm a nice girl.
Are there any horses? I'll ride.
She's the human animal. She's like, I'm looking for a book tonight because, when I'm done eating my sushi, I like to read. She's a human animal.
A pink shirt that says Everlast on it.
Look at her. She's reading Little Women. She's an animal. Look at her. Human animal. Oh, man. It says Nicole will be giving a seminar at 3 p.m. on bodybuilding, exercise, and nutrition for a stronger, healthier life. Well, that's going to age poorly, let me tell you.
The stronger part's good.
Yeah, that definitely. $4 to listen to her talk, by the way. Okay. To go in there, which is a very strange. 5's too much, but 3's not enough.
Weird number to land on. That's like the most singles you can pay.
It's how many singles do I need to have here?
Yeah.
You need to have 5 people with you to just be able to give them a 20. Get it over with. Fucking ridiculous. So, 1991 IFBB North American Championships. She's 4th in the heavyweight division. Yeah. She makes her acting debut here, and she will be.
Is that right?
She'll do a lot of acting because if you need a giant woman, there's your giant woman. Someone to go, holy shit, she's bigger than the guy. There's your guy.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this White Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. I'm going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles.
A big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud.
Sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.
He was hip-hop's biggest mogul, the man who redefined fame, fortune, and the music industry.
The first male rapper to be honored on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, Sean Diddy Combs.
Diddy built an empire and lived a life most people only dream about.
Everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Yeah, that's what's up.
But just as quickly as his empire rose, it came crashing down.
Today I'm announcing the unsealing of a 3-count indictment, charging Sean Combs with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, interstate transportation for prostitution.
I was up. I hit rock bottom, but I made no excuses. I'm disgusted. I'm so sorry.
Until you're wearing an orange jumpsuit, it's not real. Now it's real.
From his meteoric rise to his shocking fall from grace, from law and crime, this is the rise and fall of Diddy. Listen to the rise and fall of Diddy exclusively with Wondery Plus.
She made appearances, and I don't know how the fuck she got into this, but she makes appearances on 4 different soap operas, which is the very last place I would expect to see her on. Would be if you said, what genre is she doing? I go, I don't know, like an action movie. Nope, soap operas.
Very little humor in those, and
very little humor.
What? How can you possibly place her and just be like, take her dead serious?
Yeah, unless she's playing a human animal. Yeah. So she made guest appearances on The Bold and the Beautiful, on Days of Our Lives, also in 1991. Then on General Hospital. Oh, General Hospital and Guiding Light in 1992 as well.
The 4 bigs.
The 4. Those are the ones if you said name fucking, I guess,
All
One Life to Live.
All My Children.
One Life to Live and All My Children are the only ones, yeah. The 80s ones that I remember being on TV when I was a kid.
Life Goes On, is that one too?
No, Life Goes On is with Corky.
Oh.
Life Goes On. It's so fun. Dude, 3 days ago or 4 days ago, I had this conversation with Sarah because she didn't know who Corky was.
Oh, really?
And I was like, Corky from Life Goes On. He's got Down syndrome and he was an actor. I thought Corky was dead for like 30 years. Corky's still alive.
He's still going?
Corky is fucking just
thriving.
I don't know about thriving. He's had Down syndrome for 50 years, right? But he's like 50-something years old. Yes.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I didn't know they lived that long. But it's so, I was like, you don't know who Corky is? Because in the 80s or 90s even, and even in the 2000s, you could just say Corky and people knew what you meant.
Everybody knew what it was, Knew
what fucking Corky was. But yeah, Life Goes On, that was, he was on that. Which
she said she was on Guiding Light?
She was on Guiding Light, yes. Okay. Guiding Light, General Hospital, Bold and the Beautiful, and Days of Our Lives.
Wow. All she's missing is All My Children. That's all.
And One Life to Live, too, was the other one.
One Life to
Live, yeah. Somebody in my family watched that, and for like a whole summer, me and my cousin Jesse watched that for some reason when we were children, small children, because we got into it. I don't know why.
I got into GH when I was in my 20s.
I got into GH.
See how I called General Hospital GH?
I got into GH a bit. I like OLTL, but you were more into GH. So I get it.
I was into GH for a minute.
I get it. You know what I'm saying? What about GL? Never got into that.
No, just GH.
BATB? Nothing?
There was a girl that I was into. She watched GH, so I watched it with her.
Yeah, fuck it.
It was stupid, hilarious. But I watched it.
Yeah, it was stupid. I used to fight with my aunt when I was very little because she was a teenager when I was little, and we used to fight over the TV because I wanted to watch Tom and Jerry, and she wanted to watch General Hospital. She wanted to watch GH when I was like 4. I was very upset about that. 1993 NPC National. She's 10th in that one. Okay. Beginning in 1993 is when she starts making Howard Stern show appearances. Okay. So Howard found her way before wrestling and the whole mainstream world kind of found her. Howard was the one.
I wonder if Howard saw her on one of those fucking days, because he's home by then. You know what I mean?
Maybe.
He may have seen her on it.
But I sitting around, somebody might have said, have you seen the size of that one fucking chick?
Yeah.
She's
she's from Queens and everything.
Yeah, so who knows? And if she lives in New York, too, it's an easy guess
right
here.
There.
Apparently, she took part as a contestant in Stern's 1993 pay-per-view TV event.
What was it?
Miss Howard Stern New Year's Eve pageant. Yeah, there you go. So this is what made her famous, honestly, if we're being honest. I mean, in the bodybuilding world, she was famous, but name me a big bodybuilder right now in the bodybuilding world.
Nicole Bass.
Exactly, yeah.
The gal? Forget it.
All right, name me a bodybuilder who's active right now.
Today?
Neither can I.
No.
Right now. That's what I mean. Current. So, I mean, if you're not in the bodybuilding world, you don't know who the fuck these people are. Right. Unless it's the 70s and we're talking about Schwarzenegger and Ferrigno and guys like that. But since the 70s, no one's given a shit about that or karate. It's just, they're both. The 70s was decades of fucking bodybuilding and karate, and everybody gave up on it.
And the only guy that anybody knew in karate was Daniel LaRusso.
They knew Daniel LaRusso after, well, for us, because we were too young for Bruce Lee shit, because he was dead by the time we. But in the 70s, everyone was super into Bruce Lee shit. And
was he doing karate? Was that what that was called, Bruce? Or was he doing.
Who knows?
Kung Fu?
He's kicking and punching, being all Asian and shit. I don't know.
He's being water and Asian.
He's an Asian guy that kicks. We'll call that karate. I have no fucking idea.
Yeah.
Especially in the 70s, no one knew the difference. They were like, yeah.
It's an Asian fucking discipline. That's all.
That's all.
They eat rice and they use chopsticks to catch flies. It doesn't matter.
Listen, who gives a shit? They have a lot of classic cars. It's fine.
Yeah. If you wash one nice, you can have it.
You can have it. But you have to wash it the correct way. And most importantly, you have to wax it the correct way. Fuck washing it.
Wax it on and then wax it off.
Well, you can't just leave it on, so you got to wax it off at that point, right?
Yeah.
Goes one way, goes the other.
Elizabeth's shoe to the fucking thing.
Oh, yeah, because it's been a cruel summer, Jimmy. It's been a cruel, cruel summer. So, anyway, this she gets famous off of this. This is, I believe, the reason why, like, especially an ECW would have taken her on.
Sure.
Is because Paul Heyman's a New Yorker and grew up in New York, lived in New York the entire time. Probably still does. Sure.
Yeah.
Yes. Listen to plenty of Howard Stern. So that's probably where that came from. She started appearing. Apparently, she was fitting right in with the old whack pack there. Just
yes, she was.
Yeah. Howard's group. We got who's this guy? We got like a midget. We got a guy with no face. Let's bring a giant broad in. We'll get her, the human animal. Anybody else? We got any freaks out there?
And human animal is the nicest nickname of anybody in Howard Stern's whack pack.
Yeah.
They get really terrible
insulting nicknames.
Yeah. They're right on the nose.
Yeah. And the thing is, and you would know this from her appearances, she will do anything for a laugh.
Yeah.
She learned a long time ago it's easier to make yourself the butt of the joke than to let someone else do it for you. So she's very self-deprecating person.
Her voice was something that, because it's radio, her voice was something that Fred would make fun of a lot. And but she would laugh at it too, because it is a crazy voice.
And she knew, and then she was very self-deprecating, and also the big joke obviously was about how she's always confused for a man,
right?
And she would laugh about it too. She's like, totally, like they don't see these tits. What the fuck, you know what I mean? Right. So back into bodybuilding, 94 NPC Nationals, she's 6th. 95 NPC Nationals, she's 2nd. Hey, 96, she's 2nd, and then 97, she is 1st in the NPC Nationals. She wins it all. Then in 97 also, she goes for Ms. Olympia. Which sounds like a big event.
That's the biggest thing,
it's a mountain, so it's got to be big, you know? The IFBB Ms. Olympia, and she comes in 14th in that. So then in 1997, she, more, I guess, acting. It's not really acting, but she plays herself. She plays... Not really herself, I guess, though. Does she? She's not herself. She's in private parts.
Yeah, she's playing herself.
Does she say she's Nicole Bass? I don't remember.
Yeah, because it's likely. I don't remember the scene.
It's the one where I remember exactly where they have the other guy out there filming her on the street, like filming B-roll.
And
she's
so
like
Gary
flexing,
doing a prep.
Yeah, and remember
it's
she's
definitely
like
her. Yeah.
She's like flexing in heels, and she's like, I don't know what the fuck these fucking heels, and she's having problems.
It's definitely her being Nicole Bass. She's playing herself.
Okay, I don't know if I just don't know if they introduce her as. I don't know if she says I'm Nicole Bass or if it's just she just says Howard comes to wherever.
Gary probably says, "Come on, Nicole, say the line, say or something
like that." I'm sure. Yeah. I don't remember now. I haven't seen it in a while. So, November 21st, 1997, Newsday has an article, and the headline is "A Woman of Inner Strength Too." Now we're going to see the
biceps
softer side.
And her chest. She's
Biceps.
inside. Her
and not
heart
just
is so
tits,
big.
inside of her tits.
Yeah.
You know, did you guys know that inside of a woman's tits is her heart? Did you know that? It's in there.
Buried beneath lungs and shit.
Well, yeah, don't worry about that. It's somewhere in her tits. I don't know. So they said whether it's all about those staring eyes following her while training at the gym or having to stop to sign autographs at the mall, living with the relentless public goes hand in hand with the title of world's largest female bodybuilder. Sure. Nicole Bass still is finding it hard to get used to all the attention, even after 14 years of competition. At 6'2" and a rock-solid 205 pounds, Jesus, Bass is women's bodybuilding's most recognizable star, thanks to regular appearances on the Howard Stern Show, Montel, and the Geraldo shows.
She did Montel Williams.
She was on TV. She was she's that giant chick who's on everything. Yeah. The 33-year-old Middle Village resident is also bodybuilding's newest professional, having won the National Physique Committee's, that's, I guess, the NPC, National Physique Committee, that's what that stands for.
Well, I thought it was something else.
I did, too. Championship in Dallas on November 2nd. Bass can only hope that the judges are impressed with her when she takes the stage tomorrow when the Bodydonics Pinnacle Miss Olympia returns to Manhattan at the Beacon Theater at 8 p.m. The prejudging starts at 2. Got to get prejudged. That's how it is. Her debut coincides with the rematch of current Ms. Olympia, Kim Chizeski, and six-time Ms. Olympia, Lenda Murray. Not Linda, Lenda.
Lenda.
Like, I'll lend you that.
Yeah. I bet she was on those talk shows for, like, I'm addicted to exercise things. Or then they're like, if you don't stop, and then they bring her up, you're going to look like this.
Yeah, or it was like, I look like this and people stare at me. It was probably like freak people, you know what I mean? They would have back, because they would have, Geraldo would have a panel of like some guy with a fucking goiter coming out of his forehead that was the size of a fucking football and shit like that. And sit him next to, it was basically Howard Stern's Whack Pack, but now on the couch.
Telling him it's okay to be like that. Or she's coming out and going, I was a dork in high school, look at me now.
Yeah. She would have done great on those like fucking scare the shit out of your teenager shows.
Oh, those scared straight shits.
Come on, I'll take you in there. I'll show you what it's like. Girls will go, oh my God, Jesus Christ.
You get in here or I'll fuck you.
Some 15-year-old girl, yeah. Oh my God, Jesus, this girl's scary.
Is it possible?
Yeah. Also scheduled will be the Ms. Fitness Olympia competition with reigning champion Sarin Muldrow. Sarin, like the gas, but not spelled that way.
Why do they? This is
all
what
have
happens
weird
when you
names.
name your kids fucked up names.
You name them Sarin and Lenda. They have no
take
choice.
Steroids and lift things because they're mad at you.
They have no choice but to juice up their pecs when you do this. No choice. You're hurting them. Nicole said, I put my whole life into this. Before this, I would never put out the effort, but this was the 1 year I did it, and here I am being mentioned with Kim Chizevnevsky and Lenda Murray. Today, women's bodybuilding, this is back to the article, women's bodybuilding is suffering, mainly from its own progression. Physiques have become far more muscular and chiseled than was Rachel McLish's, the first Ms. Olympia in the 1980s. The work of the women has been tarnished with reports of widespread steroid use. Yeah, people have eyes, is all that is. It's not rumors or reports. It's people looked at someone and goes, oh,
Jesus.
People don't look like that normally.
Right. Yeah.
You're on steroids. That's just fuck, man. Bodybuilding has been called hardcore, even extreme. Some women bodybuilders have been branded freakish or the dreaded masculine. Although ticket sales have been slow this week for the Super Bowl of women's bodybuilding, the sport still has its following. This is Linda Chizevsky or whatever. Yeah. It's an acquired taste, I would say. Steroids are definitely an acquired taste.
Probably not easy to get down, yeah.
By the way, she was once a member of the University of Southern Illinois dance squad.
Really?
A dancing Saluki she was, yes.
I'm shocked.
No shit. She said there's a lot of sacrifice involved in bodybuilding. Women's bodybuilding has opened the doors for other sports. All sports today do at least some type of weightlifting or bodybuilding exercises in their program. It's a great way of life. We do, and then Lenda Murray says, we do this because we want to be unique. I did this because I want to look like this. I am an extreme, and I know that.
Is it real extreme, Linda?
I guess she's like the champ, so she must be. She's got to be fucking ripped and overly weirdly tan and all that shit.
Yeah, I don't know what's that about.
It makes it pop more.
Does it?
Yes.
Because you'd think that being super white would make it pop more.
It doesn't. It doesn't at all. The bronze on the lights, it makes it pop. That's why wrestlers always went to tanning beds, because they said you look more cut. If you're tanned and oiled, you'll look more cut than if you're just fucking doughy and fleshy and pale.
I think I'd appreciate them to do both, and then I can judge for myself.
Let's see you before and after. See you before a spray tan and after one. What do you look like?
My opinion changes the tide of this.
Maybe it will. We could do this. We could change it. He said, but there, just as there is a public that is turned off by the sport, there are those in the bodybuilding, quote, cult who appreciate the physically and mentally exhausting regimen of dieting and training. Although many would like to see the sport grow among the general population, they realize it is those within the bodybuilding's cult-like following that keep the sport alive. Linda Murray said, we will always have our fans, and they always come and will be interested in who Mr. or Ms. Olympia is. We've just got to stay strong and don't believe the hype. Shevzensky said, we're responsible for keeping the drive in bodybuilding. It's more acceptable for men to be more muscular. We've got to work to make it more acceptable for women to be looked at that way. And the article goes, and then there's Bass. And then there's Bass. She said, with 17-inch biceps and 28-inch thighs. Those are 28-inch thighs. That's big.
The 17-inch biceps alone
That's big too.
Are very impressive.
I mean, Hulk Hogan always claimed 24-inch biceps, and they were 24-inch maybe in like 83. After that, they're like 22, and she's actually got a legit 17. This is a big fucking lady.
After Suburban Commando? Was that what it was? After that,
Suburban with Christopher Lloyd.
Once they went to the Hollywood Hulk thing, they weren't 24 anymore.
No, even he said in the late 80s they weren't 24 anymore. Yeah, he was touring too much, drinking too much beer. He couldn't do that. Yeah. So they said 28-inch thighs. Bass will be fulfilling a dream at tomorrow's competition, win or lose. She says, I've worked 14 years from this, said Bass, who earned the right to compete upon special invitation from Pro Bodybuilding's governing body. She's the only one anyone's ever fucking heard of, probably. That's why. That's a lot of years, she says. It would be nice for all of New York to be in the audience yelling, Nicole, 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 but that would be a fantasy. Sure. I would say, let's just say it right now, Grace. That's Grace, I feel like. She's built
she's
up.
the leader of the Whack Pack, unopposed.
Yeah. Well, I mean, physically, she's certainly she could
I don't think Beetlejuice has the...
I don't think he has the stamina for it. I really don't. I think she could take the rest of the Whack Pack all by herself. Like, if it was Nicole Bass versus the Whack Pack, she's winning.
Versus Wendy.
By far. People falling out of physical ailment, crazy people.
I don't know. Bigfoot was huge, but I don't think he was coordinated enough to take.
No, this girl was strong too. She's a strong lady. So yeah, Grace, she's doing well. The world knows her. It's all positive. Other than you're huge. Other than that, it's all positive. Everything's fine. Even Howard Stern stuff is semi-positive. It's we joke, but it's okay.
Yeah, she's still being. She's beloved. Howard loves her, and he needs her because it's good radio.
That's exactly right. It seems like it is. So she ends up training for wrestling at this point. This is when she's into wrestling, and she's 34 fucking years old, which is late for wrestling. She's quote unquote trained by Extreme Championship Wrestling, ECW, the Philadelphia-based hardcore shit. Okay. Now, this is after ECW. I believe this is right before or right after they got on like TNN. Remember TNN? They were on there. This was in 97. They started their first pay-per-view with Barely Legal. So this is when ECW was trying to be the third wrestling company. It was trying to make it WWF, WCW, and ECW were the three majors. But, before this, there was always in the Philly Bingo Hall there, the ECW arena.
No good.
And, I loved it. I thought it's great shit. But
but that's not
national.
That's not premiere. Yeah.
It's not going to be a national thing. But all the other ones imitated them. Like when Monday Night Raw did their in the beginning when it first started, when they were doing it from that fucking ballroom that was 600 people in there, they were imitating ECW type shit. That's what they were, and other indies that were trying to get that we're underground feel.
Yeah, I guess the flair of the involving the crowd and shit like that. That stuff came from that?
That's ECW 100%.
Yeah.
ECW they were the first to have the chants all the time.
Yeah.
It was almost like a Rocky Horror Picture Show. You go to an ECW show. You knew when to chant, you fucked up. Oh, wow. Somebody slipped off the rope. The whole crowd chants, you fucked up when they blow a spot. Which is, it's tough. It's a tough crowd.
You don't want that at your fucking day job. Just a whole bunch of people screaming at you.
That place, ECW Arena, is 1,000 Philly maniacs. There's no fucking air conditioning in the place. In the summer in Philly, it's 1,000 degrees with all these fucking guys in here yelling, screaming, fat people, fat dudes drinking beer, shit-faced, yelling, screaming.
Dock workers.
Yeah, that's what they are. And then a bunch of fucking, if you look at the crowd, it looks like a fucking prison yard. I mean, it's like, holy shit. And then there's Billy Corgan sitting there with a fucking hood on and a hat. Yeah. Billy Corgan was at all the tons of the shows. He loved it. The Smashing Pumpkins singer. Yeah. So she started her professional wrestling career, apparently had her first matches in Japan, is what I see from any of the listings, for NEO Women's Pro Wrestling.
This is 98?
This is 98, early 98, where she won a tournament there, apparently. She beat Etsuko Mita in the first round of the tournament, then beat Chaparita Asari, and then Kyoko Inoue she beat after that. So she became the, whatever the fuck that is, the winner of the tournament. They love tournaments in Japan. They love them.
They need a bracket to follow.
They love a tournament over, like the wrestling. They are always doing tournaments over there. They love that shit.
And so China got big around this time.
This is the exact time. And that's the other reason why you bring her in, is because 97 is when China came in, and by 98 she is like getting all the publicity.
God. Yeah.
I mean, she was going. They had her in Playboy later and all that, but I mean, she was like, everyone knew who the fuck China was. It was a reference you could make, and so that's ECW goes. We'll grab her.
Yeah, and she was youthful at the time, so she wasn't like she ended up getting bigger as she was in wrestling.
More roids, more plastic surgery.
Yeah, I think that was so bad. She was hot as shit when I thought she was so sexy in Playboy. Oh my God, I loved it.
I'm not going to say that,
I was a big
but
fan.
Okay.
I thought she was hot as shit.
Nah, it has nothing to do with her body.
No, you think that is it the ass?
No, it's the fucking underbite that got me in the beginning.
Right.
Yeah, she looked like a fucking barracuda at first.
Little pug.
Like a giant barracuda. I was like, that's not good at all.
I just don't want to see them from the back. When women are too fit from the back, it looks like a man's ass, and I don't like that.
She had that weird thing. She's like,
it's a little pug bite.
She did like the fucking sling blade thing with her lip. I like French fried potatoes. I'm like, that's not sexy. I can't deal with that.
I thought she was hot as hell.
So she debuts as a valet in 1998 here. And I believe she's got to be involved with Shane Douglas at some point here. She has feuds with Tommy Dreamer and Beulah McGillicuddy and Mikey Whipwreck and all that. Now, here is Shane Douglas talking about Nicole. Shane Douglas was like the main ECW guy. He was there from the beginning. Paul loved him and made him his champ all the time. And he had a big kind of say in a lot of shit. Like people listened to Shane Douglas, at least Paul Heyman did, and things like that. So Shane is also a huge blowhard, and it's funny to hear him talk all the time.
Okay.
He's a teacher. He's smarter than your average wrestler too.
Yeah.
And he loves to make sure you know that, which is one of those things like, I'm not stupid. And he's got a voice like this. And he's like, I'm not stupid. Okay. Like, it's funny.
Understand.
He says for a woman, she was a big, big, big person. 3 bigs, triple big. 6'2", 6'3", shoulders bigger than most of the guys.
Yes.
And a sweetheart.
Oh.
Nicole Bass was a sweet, sweet person to be around. I told my wife, when you meet her, try not to be like shocked. Because she said, you see her on TV, she's big. When you meet her, you're going to go, whoa, don't.
Yeah, how do they zoom out and get her all?
You try not to sell it, he kept saying. He said, because the first time you meet her, it takes your breath away. She's a huge specimen. Yeah. And so he said that his wife flew in for a show or that whatever, not flew in, drove in or whatever the fuck, and they were at some hotel. And he said, so we're in the lobby of the hotel, and I belabored this point to my wife, what to expect from the different people. When you talk to people, this guy's an asshole, this guy's might be grumpy, but he's like this or whatever. Yeah. maybe Taz, and my wife was talking to some people, maybe Taz and his wife, and I said, hey, this is Nicole. And my wife turned around, and he just does this jaw-dropped, eyes pop thing.
What the hell was that?
He goes, and I'm thinking, way to not sell her. Thanks. Like, I told you to not do that, but thanks a lot. She said she had her hair all frizzed out and everything, he says. Like, she looked even bigger when her hair's big and she's big. Like, whoa. That's why, like, when Andre the Giant had the big fro, it was like, holy fucking shit. Could you be any bigger?
You're stretching your head out in every direction.
His head is, like, just huge, and then it's got the hair is twice the size. It was fucking amazing. So then they said, Shane has asked how she would take all the commentary from the crazy ECW fans, because they would... they would say crazy, horribly offensive shit to her all the time. And Shane said with a stiff upper lip, that's how she took it. Okay. He said, I would go to the gym with her quite often, and she would always come to me for information and ask me to watch her matches. And so that's when you're new in wrestling, it's you ask a veteran to watch your match and then critique it. What are you doing wrong? What am I doing right? And same way a young comic would ask a comic they respect, would you mind watching my set? And telling me how bad I am. Right. So that's your goal inside is going, oh, they're going to tell me I'm a genius. But there's no way that's happening. I've never asked one person to watch my set.
I don't want that.
Ever.
Don't tell me how bad I am.
Well, I'll figure it out is what it is. It doesn't matter how bad you think I am.
Leave me alone.
It's fine. And wrestling's different though, because wrestling, for everyone to make the money and get paid, the whole card has to be good. So guys are more willing to help each other out a little bit with that, where like a new guy, I'll watch your match. Some of the guys are ego and they won't help anybody, but some of the guys they're willing to help the next generation because you need them to have a business. Sure. Whereas comedy, it's like, fuck, a comic will tell you the wrong thing to fuck with you.
I need you won't have so that I look better.
So you won't have a better set than them. So it's a totally different thing. It's way more petty. So he says that, and she would always come for information, ask me to watch her matches. What I gathered from all those conversations with Nicole was that she wanted to be a frilly little girl.
Wow.
Interesting. Everybody says that. She really wanted to be like feminine and no one would take her like that.
But you can't be.
It's hard. I mean, you can be, but no one's going to see that. And you know what I mean? It's just no one's going to see that. It's just...
The only way to sell that is in like possibly a place where you're committed. You know what I mean? Like a mental hospital. Put her in anything pink and lacy, and then be like, this person thinks that they're a tiny little girl.
And you sit them next to the guy wearing the Napoleon hat who thinks he's
or wearing the same clothes as her, thinking he's a tiny little girl.
Thinking the Cheech from Up in Smoke there. When he's
that outfit.
So she wanted to be a frilly little girl and dainty and be able to portray all of that, and it just wasn't in the cards for her, he says. That's the way to put it. He said, so she took the assets God gave her and expounded on them. But she had been a veteran of Howard Stern at that point, and some really horrendous things said about her, so that was her shtick. But if you asked her, I think deep inside her heart, she'd rather be Francine. Francine was Shane Douglas's valet, who was a big-titted, skinny, very feminine. I mean, all the guys were chanting about her tits and they wanted to fuck her and all that. I think she'd rather be Francine there at ringside than Nicole Bass. And Shane has asked if he thinks Nicole ever wanted to even be in wrestling or if it was just a way to make some quick money.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this white Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. I'm going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles.
A big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud.
Sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.
Behind the closed doors of government offices and military compounds, there are hidden stories and buried secrets from the darkest corners of history. From covert experiments pushing the boundaries of science to operations so secretive they were barely whispered about. Each week, on Redacted, Declassified Mysteries, we pull back the curtain on these hidden histories. 100% true and verifiable stories that expose the shadowy underbelly of power. Consider Operation Paperclip, where former Nazi scientists were brought to America after World War II, not as prisoners, but as assets to advance U.S. intelligence during the Cold War. These aren't just old conspiracy theories. They're thoroughly investigated accounts that reveal the uncomfortable truths still shaping our world today. The stories are real. The secrets are shocking. Follow Redacted, Declassified Mysteries on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen to Redacted early and ad-free right now on Wondery Plus.
Have you ever gotten a message out of the blue? Maybe you ignore them. Or maybe you end up in conversation. Maybe they tell you about an amazing offer.
I can really show you how to make some money.
And maybe that gets you into a lot of trouble. But this isn't a story about people like you, the people receiving these messages. This is a story about the people behind the messages, on the other end of the line. Thousands of them, working in a microcity built for scammers. From Wondery, the makers of Dr. Death and Kill List, comes Scam Factory, a new series about survival at the expense of others. Follow Scam Factory on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen to Scam Factory early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts.
Yeah. Because if you're into bodybuilding and people know who you are, that's a way you can go make some dollars on the side. How do you monetize that? And this is a way. He says, I think once she got into it, I think there was some point of respect of what the guys were doing and having fun. But no, I don't think she was a wrestling fan. And at this time, China is getting a ton of press.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
She's seeing, if you're a big giant girl in wrestling, you can make a shitload of money and get very famous off of it. And she's trying to do it. Then he says, this is Shane, China, nothing against her, but she was minuscule next to Nicole. She's if you stood them next to each other, you'd be like, oh, that girl's in a lot of trouble. That girl's going to kick her fucking ass.
It's a different body. It's a different
Exactly.
Different
very
mass.
different. He said her husband at the time, Bob, I think his name was. That's Bob Fuchs. Nice guy. There's one nice guy. See, there's one spectrum.
But
nice guy, would interact with the boys in the back. There were times, not many, but there were times I saw him, I don't want to say browbeat her or abuse her, because I think she could have probably ripped him in half if she wanted to, but just like, let me explain things to you type of thing. Like he's going to sit her down and give her the fucking what for of what she's doing wrong and all that shit. And knowing her, when she and I would go to the gym, she'd talk openly, I do feel a little uncomfortable and that sort of thing. And I think it was a really sad thing for me because I could tell she yearned to be something else. But like all of us, you're pretty much stuck with what you have. Mm-hmm. And in her case, if she could have snapped her fingers, she'd have snapped them and been Francine or anybody else there at ringside, one of the real feminine girls. A lot of times I think the ECW fans slammed her. And then he says, understand she had no formal training. So that trained by ECW is bullshit. She did. Right. They needed her to get out there and make money. So she's a spectacle. Put her on there. So when you put somebody who's not trained in a ring, you can't be mad at them for not being great at it. It takes so fucking long. And even now it takes these guys a longer time, I think. Honestly, I mean, they don't get to do it as much as they did back in the day. You know, in the 70s and the 80s, guys would start wrestling and they'd wrestle literally 360 days a year. So they get good at it pretty quick. In ECW, they were running like 2 shows a week and you weren't on all of them. So, I mean, there was no way for you to get the experience to be good.
Almost no way to make enough money to live either.
Oh, no, there wasn't. There wasn't. And that's what ECW's problem was, is they didn't have enough shows. So then guys started getting plucked and sniped away by the bigger places. Mm-hmm. So then ECW was like, we have to pay these guys.
Job.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Well, Shane Douglas was a teacher while he was doing this.
Yeah.
He was teaching class. And
what if he got tenure? Then his wrestling career's over.
Yeah. Well, George the Animal Steel did that.
Really?
Georgie Animal Steel for years and years and years. When we were little kids and he was wrestling, that's when he retired from teaching and wrestled full time. Before that, he used to only wrestle during the summers.
That man was in a classroom?
He was the football coach and an English teacher at the high school. And because wrestling was regional, none of his students knew who the fuck he was.
They had no fucking idea.
They had no clue because he'd go to New York and wrestle, then go back to Detroit and teach school. They didn't know what the fuck was going on in New York wrestling, so they didn't see him. And then later on, in the 80s, when it became more national, he said that he came into class one day and all of his students put out green tongues. And he was like, okay, fine, you got me. Fine.
Al Snow's daughter has an autograph from him, and for being an English teacher, his penmanship is fucking garbage.
I think it was English. Might have been science or some shit. I don't remember. But
it was school. He had to read other people's shit and write notes on their papers.
Shoot interviews with him are fun because he's a very smart guy, and he's not like I'm a man, I'm a blah, 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 one of those guys. He's not, I'll kick his ass. He's a total like an intellectual that's wrestling. So like his view of people and things that happened are very, very fucking good because it's like he knows this guy's a moron and he'll tell you like why he's a moron. It's very funny. So he says, understand she had no formal training. She came into our business as a bodybuilder and she was great at that. But she wasn't lazy. There was never a time where she was like, oh, I don't need to know this. She wanted to learn. She was trying to learn. Nicole, in her own way, was really trying to learn. And I just don't think Paul had her figured in that way. Yeah. He had her figured in as come see this spectacle, Nicole Bass. Didn't have her figured in as a serious part of the crew, basically.
That's too bad.
And here is Francine, who is Shane Douglas's valet here and did a lot in the business on her own. Here is Francine on Nicole, which is interesting because it's a woman's point of view, and it's interesting here. She said, I tried to help Nicole as much as I could, but she just didn't get it. When she first got here, she was so used to the bodybuilding. Like, I remember we were in the car, and she didn't feel like she should have to pay for anything. Like, she should have all her expenses paid for her, like, right away. No paying dues, no anything. And I tried to explain to her this isn't bodybuilding, and she'd be like, in bodybuilding, they send a car. They pick me up in a car. Now I'll have to go rent a car.
Yeah, why aren't they picking me up?
Yeah, and in wrestling back in the day, that was like if you were a big star, you could work in as part of your deal is they're going to pay your expenses or whatever, like an ECW. But otherwise, you just paid your expenses.
You figure yourself out, yeah.
And if you made any money on a show, lucky you, basically. That was, I mean, that's how it worked. She then says she wanted everybody to remember everybody else's spots, meaning in the ring, she wanted everyone to know what everybody like a football offense.
Yeah, no, the other matches that have no fucking bearing on yours.
No, not that. But everybody in the match that's going on, you know everything they're supposed to do, and they know everything you're supposed to do, and when it's supposed to happen. But that's not how they do it back then. And now they might plan it all out, but back then it was
the big
you know
moves?
your spot. You know once this happens, when this guy throws this guy over the top rope, then I go and do this.
Okay.
And then I wait for the next thing to happen that I'm waiting for my cue, basically. But then the people in between know their cues off of what they're doing. So it all flows. You know what I mean? So she said she wanted everybody to remember everybody else's spots so they could help each other. Like if you forgot where the fuck you were, someone could help you. And I was like, no, you remember your spot. The boys remember theirs. I don't think she ever got it. She really didn't get the business. And during Halloween, every time someone would see something with Frankenstein, they'd turn to her and say, rah, 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 like, that's you.
Yeah. Well, and that's what Fred would do, too, for her voice. He would do Herman Munster.
Yeah. Yeah, that. And
excuse me, Howard, I sat on my balls.
And she'd get so mad, Francine said. She had a good heart. I just feel like she didn't really understand what the business was about, which is so common of a thing to be said for people who come from outside the wrestling business into the wrestling business. The same thing. We see these fucking people how many times have you done a show with like a local fucking radio guy comes on and does 5 minutes or something? He has no idea how to interact in the green room with people because they're not part of it. And you don't get it.
He doesn't know how to interact with the crowd either because he's not used to that. Because all day long he just talks into the mic and
whether they react or not, you keep going.
Yeah, you just keep going. You don't know what they're reacting to. That's why this shit is fucking weird.
It's weird for us because we're used to a response. Yeah. That's why the people that do a show alone, they're out of their fucking minds.
I can't imagine.
Imagine yelling into a void and not. Right. You say something funny, I laugh. I say something funny, you laugh. It's okay. we hope other people
like
agree.
Oh, my God.
I don't know. So
Shit.
that seems crazy. So she said that she didn't know or understand what the business was all about. Now, September 15th, 1998 is the big deal on Howard Stern, where the results of her DNA test are in. This is, she agreed to do a DNA test to find out if she was, quote, really a woman or not. You heard this, right, during this time?
Of course.
Yeah, obviously she knew she's a woman, and they all knew she's a woman, but it's ratings, and that's what you do.
And she showed her vagina to Robin in the bathroom. And,
yes.
I mean, it's very obvious she's a woman.
Yes, she's obviously a woman. She's just big.
But it's good radio, it's funny radio, it's riveting radio, and that's what Howard cares about. And she doesn't want to let down the team, Nicole. She wants to be a part of the show, and if she does this, it's going to keep her around more and keep her relevant to the show. So
that's
she's
exactly
going to do it.
Yeah, she doesn't care.
It's stupid.
She knows how it's going to come out. It's not like I'm worried about it. She's not sweating the results or anything.
It's not Chris Watts going into a lie detector.
I was going to say, it's not a polygraph test. You're like, I'm not sure.
And even
if
he knew what was going to happen.
He knew it was up here. So they said Nicole was a little late getting to the studio. So everyone, this is a quote from the show. So everyone thought that she wasn't going to show up at all. She came in and complained about the way Alan had treated her when he took the swabs from her mouth and took the photos of her. He accidentally called her sir while he was doing the test. And Nicole got very upset.
That's fucked up.
It's fucked up. In her mind, inside of this, if you cracked open this big person, you took an axe and then opened her up, there'd be like a little feminine girl in there who's like
Barbie in there.
A little Barbie in there, and you're like, "Hello, sir," and she's like, "Damn it," which I could totally understand.
But as a guy, when there's someone towering over you and she's got arms like that, it feels masculine, and your natural response is being polite to say sir to a masculine person. That way.
I think it's also a thing of like guys not having. I don't know. I think guys are uncomfortable with a girl that seems like they could kick their ass. I think there's a certain discomfort with that, so you feel like you have to what up, sir? Like I can't treat you like a woman. You're a man. It's weird.
Howard probably said there's an extra $500 in it if you say sir.
Call her sir. See what happens. They said Nicole also brought her plastic surgeon with her to back up her claim of being female.
Right.
Well, here's what Alan said about Nicole. Quote, Nicole Bass is definitely a woman.
Yeah.
Some people were hoping for the results to come out the other way, but it didn't happen. So that brings that controversy to an end. That's what they said about it. So there you go.
But there were pictures of her genitals that were much more swollen, I guess is the word, than you would assume, or exactly how swollen you would assume. I don't know.
If you're lifting that much weight, something's got to pop out.
Something's got to go.
You know what I mean? So I figure you're gonna pop
behind
it.
all that pressure. You're gonna push shit out.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you're gonna go from an innie to an outie real fast, probably. So,
and who gives a shit? Whatever.
Yeah, a vagina's a vagina. It's all good. So. She ends up in WWE here, WWF at the time. It wasn't WWE for 2 or 3 more years. So she debuts at WrestleMania 15.
Wow.
So big debut, March 28th, 1999, as Sable's bodyguard. Now, do you remember Sable?
Really? She was, I loved her too. Really? She was also in Playboy. I had that one too.
Like fake blonde, fake tits, fake this, fake that. I don't like that, I don't like that, polished, I'm a woman with my big fake tits, and she looks like a Fox News anchor. I don't like that look. That's not attractive to me.
I think
don't like it.
I think Vince was
obsessed
reading
with
my diary.
No, he
just
was
marketing these women to me because I loved everything he put out.
Vince was obsessed with her. Vince McMahon and Vince Russo were both obsessed with Sable.
And she was smaller than China, right?
Oh, she wasn't. She was a model, not a bodybuilder.
Yeah, she wasn't. No. I mean, height-wise too.
Oh, yeah, no, she's smaller. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
She was Mark Miro's wife. That's how she got into it. Mark Miro, the wrestler.
Really?
Yeah, Johnny B. Bad in WCW.
Right.
That's his wife. She just happened to come to the WWF interview with him, and they were like, look at her. Oh, we got to have her on. She's beautiful. You were whacking it to her off of Playboy there.
I liked her a lot. A whole lot.
So she debuts Sable's bodyguard here. She also has matches. They do intergender matches there where they have like a mixed tag team, basically.
Sure. Yeah.
And her and Val Venus, if you remember the Val Venus character, he was the porn star guy who wore a towel over his junk all the time. And and they defeated D'Lo Brown and Ivory, who Ivory was on all those Tough Enough ones, and she was she was on the Surreal Life as well, I believe.
Really?
That one, yeah. Then also on May 2nd, 99, she defeats Deborah. That can't be Deborah like fucking Deborah McMichael. No, she was in WCW still. Either way, it was a 12-second match. So they threw her in an evening gown match.
Yeah.
So it was who can tear the evening gown off the other. So it might have been just a regular, like a small chick. And she just grabbed her and fucking ripped it into 7 pieces here. That was on Monday Night Raw, actually. Wow. Then WWF No Mercy 1999 UK pay-per-view. She defeats Tori as well in 27 seconds. So... it was Deborah McMichael. Yeah, she's in an extended feud with Deborah McMichael, which is ridiculous because Deborah McMichael maybe weighs 120 pounds.
And she's wrestling Nicole Bass?
Yes. She's the one that used to come out with Steve McMichael in WCW and like the long dress and like have the southern accent and all that.
Oh.
She was wasn't she married to Steve Austin, I believe, at one point too. She was the one in the Steve Austin Chris Adams love triangle, if I'm not mistaken.
Really?
I believe she was involved in that. Deborah McMichael, and then she was with Steve McMichael, and then somebody else too.
It's an interesting couple of dudes to be torn between.
It's a strange, very odd.
All right, sure.
Very, very odd. Englishman or a fucking hillbilly, one of the two. Or
Sable married Brock Lesnar? Is that true?
Maybe later. I don't know. I know this wasn't good for her relationship with her husband, who went to the bottom of the card and ended up getting released, and then she's a big star. So, so this was Bass and Val Venus against Jeff Jarrett and Deborah at 99 over the edge, which I don't even know why you would have that. This match was the match that took place directly after Owen Hart died at the pay-per-view.
Oh, my God.
So they dropped Owen Hart from the ceiling. He's dead. They haul his carcass out of the ring. And then bring in this.
Go on.
And then bring in Val Venus after that. It's fucking riridiculous. Ridiculous.
A guy whose name rhymes with penis. Let's go.
On purpose. Yeah,
right,
he's the porn guy. That was one of the scummiest things that anybody's ever fucking done.
How do you keep going?
That is one of the scummiest fucking things I've ever fucking heard of in a major. You would expect that in a third world country or something. Right. Someone died, they just kept on with the show, and we'd be like, "That's horrifying."
Well, we're in Bangladesh. What do you expect?
Yeah, that's what happens. They fucking peeled this man's fucking corpse from the ring, and we're like, "All right, guys, get out there. Your music's starting." Are you fucking crazy?
There's still blood everywhere.
Wow, that was disgusting. That told you all you need to know about Vince McMahon right there. Yeah. Piece of shit. So, so anyway, Nicole Bass and Val Venus obviously beat these two because to have Nicole and Deborah in the ring is silly. Nicole could beat up 7 Deborahs at the same time. Like, even if they had high heels, they were swinging at her. Like in a video game.
Her abilities of just throwing people is absurd.
She's huge. She's just monstrous. She's also in a pay-per-view event May 28th, 1999 for Power Pro Wrestling in Memphis, Tennessee. Brandon Baxter and her defeated CB Wyatt and Derek King. She's always been a woman. By the way, here's from a newspaper, the Kokomo Tribune from June 24th, 1999, like asking questions of the editorial staff. Question, was Nicole Bass ever a man? What is her real name?
They wrote that in?
They wrote that, and they answered it. Nicole Bass is and always has been a woman, and her married name is Fuchs, which is fucking... She's a woman, always has been.
So people don't have to ask dumb questions.
Just to write a letter to the newspaper and then wait for it to maybe get answered. Oh, good. I was wondering about that.
And keep reading every day.
And this is in 1999. There was better ways to find information.
Yeah. Dogpile exists. Google exists, for Christ's sake.
No shit. Now, she leaves the WWF in 1999 and files a lawsuit against the WWF for sexual harassment.
Oh.
September 10th, 1999. This is like a women's I think this is Glow, Gloow, Glue.
Oh, gorgeous ladies of wrestling?
Of wrestling here, this event where she is I guess she defeats Ryan Shamrock. Okay.
Ken's brother.
Yeah.
It's got to be, right?
Yeah. And then the next night, she beats him again. So she beats this guy twice in a row. September 17th here, looks like there's 2 matches. She defeats Allison Snow in a match, and then there's a gauntlet where she defeats Amy, Angel, John, Mimi, Ring Crew Garrett, Ring Crew Lauren. She beats a bunch of people at the same time.
And then a few ushers. She just beat up everybody in the building.
Hey, French fry lady, let's go, bitch.
Anybody still standing? Come here.
Come on. Let's go, ushers. It's on, bitch. November 20th, 1999, she defeats the Blunatic, BLU. I wonder if that is the Blue Meanie, probably, because this is XPW. XPW, there's a whole, we'll do a bonus episode on it probably, but there's a whole fucking thing about it. There's a Dark Side of Wrestling on it, too. And XPW is owned by Rob Black, who's a porn producer. Okay. So that tells you what we're dealing with here. Yeah. So that's how Jasmine St. Clair gets involved in this also, who's the porn actress who did the gangbang films, as they were considered by the Academy. She did the Fuck 300 Guys in a Day movie.
But she didn't end up fucking all of them, did she?
No, she said it was the biggest lie in the history of film. She said it was actually about like 30 guys and only 10 of them could actually get it up, and that was what she was.
Because that's fucking... We still got to... Just because she can participate doesn't mean we can.
Doesn't mean, we're interested in this. So
that's the crazy part about gangbangs when they do those. It's just like... The novelty of it isn't hot to us, P.S.
No.
And any guy that is, they can't...
It's weird.
They can't qualify to be a part of this.
Very weird. Yeah, real weird fucking thing to do, honestly, as a guy. I'm not interested in seeing your balls. Jasmine St. Clair.
Okay.
She was going for the record of most guys having sex with in a day and all that. Then she made another video where there was a bunch of guys fucking her.
Surprised we can't do it.
Yeah. She married the Blue Meanie, the wrestler from ECW, and then she ended up partially financing 3PW wrestling later on. For the Blue Meanie.
Gangbang money.
With gangbang cash, which apparently there's a lot of money in gangbangs. Hear that, everybody? There's something out there for all of us, okay?
There's money in it, but...
Don't tell me you can't make a living when there's money in gangbangs.
Not for the guy doing it.
No. She then beat, in a 2-on-1 handicap match, she beat Felony and the Blunatic, and she also defeats Dynamite D on December 17th, 1999, which I just picture... Sweet D from Always Sunny and a giant woman beating the shit out of her.
And the joke's on her.
Yep. And then 1999, here is more quote unquote acting. This is a Rob Black production, of course, the guy who ran XPW, which means it's a porn. It is called Pain and Suffering.
Oh, no.
It's an hour and 15 minutes long, directed by Lizzie Borden. Nice to see that she came out of her previous troubles with a career intact. That's good. Yeah. And stars Nicole Bass, Nature Blossom, whoever the fuck that is, Everett, I don't know who that is, Hunk Hollywood, that's a great name for a fucking porn guy, Christy Mist, who she's come up in other people's porns that we've talked about before,
Mist?
Christy with an I, Christy Mist, M-Y-S-T, and Alexandra Silk star in this. And it is under the tags of sex, anal sex, hardcore, and oral sex. So,
I wonder if there's sex involved.
I think there might have been sex involved, but I feel like this is Nicole Bass like forcing women to do things. I think is probably the whole plot there. Or breaking a guy down and then I don't know. January 14th, 2000, CWF Wrestling. For the title, she defeats Ryan Wing and becomes the women's title holder. In Wayne, New Jersey. January 29th, 2000, she beats Jasmine St. Clair. Which is very weird to put a little skinny, big boob porn actor in the fucking ring with her.
She can take a pounding, I'm told.
She can take a real pounding. This is XPW Abuse of Power, which is a good way to put it. And this is at the Vogue Theater in Los Angeles. I don't even know where the fuck that is.
No, it may be closed by now.
Probably. Or it's that they just renamed that terrible place we fucking played that was in between the pawn shops and the liquor stores.
That was the Palace, James. It's never
Yeah, that's
names.
right. That was Skid Row.
Since the 1800s.
That was right. It was Houdini. That was the one with Houdini's trapdoor and all that shit. And I'm like, Houdini would have needed a trapdoor if the fucking neighborhood was like it is now. He would have needed that trapdoor for another reason.
There were stalls for the elephants for him to ride out so that the homeless couldn't get him.
That was fucking nuts. I'm up high. You can't get me now. He just threw pennies to the people as he paraded out in his shit. Jasmine St. Clair on Nicole, okay? She said, and this is interesting because she's wasn't trained lifelong wrestling business person, so it's a different point of view. She said, I honestly felt sad for her sometimes. I remember going out to eat with her after some shows, and guys would say stuff to me, and Nicole would walk up to the guys and say, are you saying something to my girlfriend? And they'd all be like, no, sorry. She'd terrify them. That's not why she felt bad for him, but that's a funny little side story there.
Is, yeah.
I mean, that's no guy's going to be like, yeah, I am. You don't want to get beat up by a giant woman at the White Castle, probably. That's not fun.
A giant woman who just proclaimed to be a lesbian and is going to fight you over her girl.
Going to throw you through the front window of IHOP. I don't think that's at 2 a.m. We don't need that. She said, but I felt bad for her. I felt like her husband. I think he was his own version of a suitcase pimp. Do you know what a suitcase pimp is? She asks. Yeah. The interviewer also didn't know what a suitcase pimp is.
I do not, Jasmine. Please tell me.
A younger English fellow, and he said, no, I don't. I don't believe I know.
Yeah.
And she says this, quote, a suitcase pimp is this. It is a man that lives off a woman but promotes her career so much but is strictly in it for financial gain and doesn't really give two fucks about her at the end of the day.
Okay.
So a pimp that doesn't force a girl to fuck, but instead doesn't do shit, but like acts like they're so basically like a housewife is what they just described, or like an early 20th century woman, and you know what I mean. Like that's the role of a suitcase pimp,
and doesn't give a fuck about her.
Yeah, an old school like you go out, honey, you make the whatever, and I don't, but not cleaning the house or taking care of the kids or doing any of the things that women did when they were housewives.
Iceberg Slim liked these
75
women.
years
he
ago.
cared about these women. They just also made money for him. Is what I guess what she's trying to say.
I don't know about that. Iceberg Slim was a different kind of pimp. He's a pimp.
Vicious. Yeah,
he's a pimp.
But he still cared about him, or at least he tried to let on that he cared about him.
Anybody heating up a wire hanger to beat somebody with probably doesn't care that much about them. A little less than they should, probably. Yeah. He'll wear her he doesn't really give a fuck about her at the end of the day. He'll wear her to the bone. A lot of girls in the adult film industry have this, like, my girlfriend does all this and she's pumping the career, but she's sucking a bunch of dicks so you have money.
Right.
So she said you'd have this. Then if you ever saw the movie Star 80 with Eric Roberts, it's based upon the tragedy of Dorothy Stratton. That's a suitcase pimp. Yeah. So I just remembered he would be there and he was overly nice. And it's like, what's your fucking purpose again? I was nice to him out of respect for Nicole. So everything from nice guy to suitcase pimp. We have no idea.
And Dorothy Stratton was the Playboy model that the suitcase pimp murdered her in the room, right?
Exactly. Yes. That's the whole thing. That's a crazy movie.
Shit.
So then they asked how was she in the ring, and everybody says, love the girl, but not great in the ring. Mm-hmm. Jasmine said, when she gave me a power slam, she fucked up my ribs pretty bad. Then she was like straddling me like, are you okay? And she made that voice. And I was like,
I didn't mean to hurt you. Oh,
I'm sorry. And I was like, just get the fuck off of me. And we didn't talk for like a few days. And then everything was fine after that. She said, I feel as though there was much to her that people much more to her than people gave her credit for. And she was great in ECW and she was great in XPW. She was great wherever she went. Well, not in the ring, but she was a spectacle, definitely. Then she's in April 15th, 2000. This looks like NWA, New Jersey. I didn't even know. NWA, Jersey. Jersey, NWA. Come over here. Let's go right on the beach, Atlantic City. It's going to be great. Amy Lee defeats Nicole Bass. Oh. So I don't know who Amy Lee is, but that must be a big bitch.
She's from Evanescence. She sings a lot of songs.
2000, she's in I Love to Hurt You.
Oh, boy.
which is an X-rated movie directed by Lizzie Borden and starring Nicole Bass. Looks like just Nicole Bass, the only one on the IMDb, and of course Rob Black is the executive producer, and it is under sex, anal sex, hardcore, oral sex.
She's just hammering herself?
I don't know. Maybe. That beats me.
Word.
Forcing a guy to, I don't know, sticking his whole head inside of her. I have no idea what she's doing.
Wearing her like a hat.
Yeah. This is April 20th, 2000. She beats Riptide, I guess, at the CWF event. Then she's also in Manhandled.
What?
This movie is so good it has two directors.
Oh.
Robert Black and Slane Wayne is the other director.
Okay.
And she's in this, and she's, again, the only talent listed on the IMDb, really? So I don't know what's going on here. She has to be hurting someone. If it's manhandled, she's got to be handling someone.
Is
Who's she handling?
Herself, and they're, like...
Saying she's a man? That doesn't make sense.
Like that.
It's very weird.
That's mean.
I don't know. She beats Dina for the NWA Jersey women's title on May 12th, 2000, and then defeats Deanna the next night. So Dina, then Deanna. Maybe give them different names.
Maybe get like a Sean, like
fucking
SHAWN, something like that.
Yeah, what the fuck? I guess. Then she's in Violence on Violence.
Oh yeah,
directed and written and directed by Slane Wayne.
Really?
Now, this also has John Cronus in it, who was a wrestler. He was a wrestler. He was an ECW wrestler. Yeah. So I didn't know. I never knew he did porn.
Maybe it's her and him.
I don't know, but it stars Nicole Bass, John Cronus, Kelly. There's no picture, so I don't know if it's a guy or a chick. Joey Strange, and then Jacqueline Lick.
That might be the best porn name I've ever heard.
Jacqueline Lick. I like that one a lot. That's great. And she's working for WXW Wrestling. She's in a three-way match. This is a three-way match, not a video. Defeating, or someone else beat her and somebody else. I don't fucking know. It doesn't matter. Next video up. This does matter. Spank those bitches too. Now, listen. It didn't have the same warmth of plot, really, that Spank Those Bitches 1 had.
It's
honestly.
Another failure of a sequel.
It's no. It expounds on the story a bit, so it's like, okay, Spank Those Bitches too. We're spanking more bitches this time and everything like that. But
more bitches, more spanking.
There's a certain visceral connection that your brain just makes with Spank Those Bitches 1 that I feel like Spank Those Bitches 2 just feels like a real, just a glossy version of it. It's just too glossy. I like it raw, Jimmy.
I felt Spank Those Bitches 1 spanked the wrong bitches.
Really? Oh, so okay.
I think they were spanking these bitches.
I feel like, you know what? It probably is all cleared up in Spank Those Bitches 3, and we just didn't see the entire... We didn't see the whole catalog because I'm sure all the issues are worked out of which bitches needed to be spanked and were spanked rightfully or wrongly.
That's probably what they should do first, is sort that out before we
sort that out.
Any bitches.
You know what? Really? Then you could have had multiple sequels of spanking the right bitches, and that's really what's important: spanking the right bitch.
Spank those bitches
2. This stars Nicole Bass. Is this also directed by Slane Wayne?
Of course it is.
We'll find out. Stars, Tom Byron is the producer. Rob Black, obviously, executive producer. Starring Nicole Bass, Cleo, Kimmy with an I. These are no pictures for any of these.
1M?
1M. Kimi. I'm sure she's Asian, obviously. You know she's Asian.
Cleo's the black girl. Go on.
Based on porn, she's Asian. That's a black girl.
Something for everybody.
Yep. Jamie Lee, who I assume is Jamie Lee Curtis's alter ego here doing this.
Well, the main writer of Ted Lasso, her name's Jamie Lee. She's a comedian. She's so funny. I hope
from humble beginnings, Jimmy. From humble beginnings of Spank Those Bitches too.
She was beaten in Hollywood.
Wow. Well, you know what? She's paid her dues. I'm going to say it right now.
Good for you, Jamie Lee.
Good for you. Also, Nikki Steele in this. This is Nikki with an I and Steele with an E. And then again, Joey Strange is in this. So
of course, he spanking these bitches.
Spanking all these bitches. And it says it's just sex and hardcore. I don't see anal or oral in there at all. So I don't know what's going on here. She looks like NWA Jersey. This is at the Wildwood Convention Hall on August 24th, 2000. It's a she's beaten by Yoshiko Tamura, defeats her and wins the Jersey title. So Nicole, though, is going to take all that frustration out on another movie where she stars in Beat Your Ass.
You bet she will.
And there's a description. None of these other ones have descriptions of what the plot is here, because, I mean, obviously.
But who gives a shit?
This has a fucking description. This is directed by Rob Bass, also stars Anita Campbell, Randy Storm, and Cassorn Swan, whoever the fuck that is. Okay. Quote, Christy Mist gets pummeled for being a naughty girl by Nicole Bass, ex-WWF star, who is her abusive girlfriend.
What?
So this is, you ever want to watch fucking women beat each other up and make each other eat their pussies? Is this a fucking...
You ever want to beat off to domestic violence and borderline rape? Come on over.
Sweet domestic violence porn. Awesome.
Jesus.
What a fucking weird thing here.
Don't like that.
Now she has some legal problems, as you had to understand.
Yeah, it's unraveling. If you're going from bottom rung, or I guess middle rung wrestling to bottom rung wrestling, down to porn to pay your bills.
Yeah.
And Fred Norris is calling you fucking Herman Munster.
While you're spanking those bitches for money.
Right. It's not going well.
It's not going well. September 18th, 2000, Daily News, their headline is Getting Out of Hand. Bodybuilder bit officer during brawl, cops say.
What?
Oh, she's pulling a Sally McNeil. Remember when Sally McNeil, they tried to come get her during a bar brawl and she jumped up on the table, started kicking cops in the face? That's what we have going on here.
She's biting people.
Yup, a 6'2", 230-pound woman wrestler and bodybuilder who's a regular guest on Howard Stern's radio show was arrested on charges of biting a cop during a melee at the San Gennaro feast. What the
What?
Get some sausage and peppers and a fucking, and a Napoleon and fucking move on. What are we doing?
Unbelievable.
Get some Schweitel and shut the fuck up. What are you beating people up for at San Gennaro?
What kind of conflict can a cannoli not satisfy?
I don't understand this. Sausage and peppers can bring the world together on a good fucking bread. What are we doing?
Oh, you find the Schweitel truck and you won't leave. There will be no anger.
How many guys, think about all the fucking people hanging out at the San Gennaro Fest when that's going on. Look at this fucking broad over here. She's good.
I'll smack that bitch.
A cop comes up, nightstick out, and there's a guy going, $10 on the broad, 3-1 odds. Who's taking? Let's go. People were betting on it. She's biting him.
Ass.
I'm telling you, the broad's got fucking moxie. We can do this. Let's go. Come on, kick his fucking ass, sweetheart.
Taking bets on who takes damage. Bet he has a bite mark. I'll take that bet.
He's going to be the boy in black and blue when he's fucking done over here, this guy. She's going to kick his fucking ass. Let's go. He's eating his fucking sandwich, eating a veal parm hero while he's saying it.
Then black and blue line this guy.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's all they're going to have to do. It took 6 cops to subdue Nicole Bass.
Oh, my God. Yeah, there is not...
It's a giant, strong person.
There's not a lineup card that she's been on that was full of women that could beat her. If 6 cops couldn't do it.
Wow. A former World Wrestling Federation star who bills herself as the world's biggest female bodybuilder. Her stepdaughter, Jennifer Fuchs, told the Daily News.
Yeah.
This is my stepmom beating a cop up. Fuchs, 31, this is the stepdaughter, said, quote, there were 2 cops on each of her arms. One had a foot on her back, and the 6th was grabbing her hair and macing her eyes. Jesus Christ.
Like Gulliver's Travels.
Wow. No shit. Yeah, they got her all pinned down. She's going to break all of the restraints.
A man standing on her chest with like a fire extinguisher full of mace and can't hold her down.
It's not working. She said she was going to spank us bitches. Does that mean anything to anybody?
I love to hurt you.
Wow. Fuchs, the stepdaughter. By the way, the stepdaughter is 31 and Nicole is 36 at this point. So her husband has got to be. He's got to be
Bob.
At least 15, 20 years older than her. Yeah. She's got a daughter. So they go on. Fuchs said the trouble started at about 10:45 p.m. Saturday after her boyfriend, meaning Nicole's boyfriend, this woman's father, and Bass bought Heroes, big sandwiches if you're not from around here, at Mulberry and Kenmare Streets in the heart of the famed Little Italy feast. They were trying to make their way through the narrow, packed streets when Alexander Ronayne, 21, of Queens, allegedly punched Fuchs in the back of the head, meaning the husband, not the
right.
Not you wouldn't punch her in the back of the head.
No fucking way.
She'd turn around and shove that fucking sandwich right up your asshole. When her father came to her aid, oh no, this guy punched the stepdaughter.
Oh.
When her father came to her aid, Ronayne slapped him. So slapped Fuchs, the husband.
Yeah, slapped dad.
Her boyfriend, meaning stepdaughter boyfriend, John Rupp, 30 of Long Island, joined the fray, she said. So now it's a fucking brawl.
3 people in one family on one guy.
Wow. Authorities said Bass of Queens, Nicole Bass, scratched Ronayne's neck, but Fuchs insisted Bass was not involved in the brawl and was jumped by the cops when she tried to give her handcuffed husband his heart medication. Oh, Jesus Christ.
That's how old he is. She's in her 30s?
And he's got heart medication.
My God.
Cops said Bass, who has 18-inch biceps and boasts she can bench press 350 pounds, chomped down on the right hand of Officer James Secreto. Secreto was treated at St. Vincent's Medical Center. A second cop was treated for a minor injury in the scuffle, too. Now, here is Robert Fuchs, Nicole's husband, said, "My wife was totally on the sidelines until she was grabbed by 6 officers. The fight had nothing to do with the Howard Stern show or my wife," he said. He's 52, by the way.
Oh, boy.
Had nothing to do with that. Bass, who was often chided by Stern for her deep voice and even submitted to an on-air DNA test to prove she's a woman, spoke softly last night at her arraignment on felony assault charges. Yeah. The bodybuilder, clad in a white tank top, blue jeans, and black boots, declined to comment after being released on her own recognizance. The Fuchses, Rupp and Ronayne, were charged with misdemeanor assault and released with a desk appearance ticket, cop said. Mm-hmm. Holy fucking shit.
That's a fascinating description of a wardrobe, too. I'm sure
it
didn't look near as normal as that sounds.
No, because her in a tank top is going
to... Huge fucking boobs.
Huge shoulders and boobs and arms coming out of it. I mean,
she
Jesus
looked like
Christ.
a wrestler.
Yeah. She looked like Hulk Hogan from the back, probably. You know what I mean? Like, that's like early years Hulk Hogan before he was chubby. So... that's how that goes. Now, this is all at the San Gennaro feast. It's very sad. She goes home after that. She gets arraigned. She didn't even get a chance to eat her fucking hero.
No kidding.
She had a veal parm that she got nothing of. This is fucking sad shit. It's very, very sad. It depresses her, honestly.
Yeah.
It depresses her a little bit. She's sitting around in the house and, people starting shit with her and cops taking her down and all that. And
dreaming about the glory days of porn.
Dreaming about the glory days of porn, and also delicious Italian food is also what she's dreaming at. And that must summon something up from the heavens, because there's a knock on the door, and it's my grandma. Oh, look at her. She's back. It's Italian grandma. And she says... Ma, how is it you've come to arrive here? Ma, why? Why you come here? Ma, I see. Yeah, they call you man. Okay, but... you see, I have different name for you. I call Putan is mainly because you go, it's spank. What's the spank these bitches? But why you spank the bitches? Why? Why you do that?
Spank the bitches, bite the cop.
Spank the bitch. You bite the cop. You spank. No, it's no good for me. I can't anymore with you. I'm sorry. No, you're not even shiny like skin of the seal. I can't. No, poof, and then in a cloud of homemade cavatelli and tomato sauce, she's gone. And Nicole's very confused. She tried to bite her, but Grandma's quick. She's quick, and also she has a knife, so Nicole knows not to fuck with Grandma. Grandma's, I cut you. That's it. I no fight with you. I cut. That's it. So, wrestling fans, apparently, this is funny. There's different articles about when she got arrested. And they said wrestling fans were split on Bass's arrest. Here is a 14-year-old wrestling fan named Natasha Rodriguez of Manhattan, while sitting in the WWF Cafe in Times Square, which never a thing has more dated anything to a particular time than sitting in the WWF Cafe in Times Square. Yes, they had a wrestling cafe in Times Square.
Interesting.
That was back when everything ESPN had restaurants. Remember, that was back when any brand that was popular, you just stick it on a restaurant. Wow. And it was good. She said, quote, "It's typical. It would be just like her." How do you know? I think you're 14. I watched her on wrestling, and that's what she was like on there. So
a 14-year-old's so familiar with her.
Yep. And then finally, John Martino, a 21-year-old of Locust Valley, Long Island. Oh, he insisted, he said, quote, she's a good wrestler and a very nice person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. And then Angelo Landoli, 14 years old from Cranford, New Jersey, said this guy has a huge, he was 14 then, which means 24 years ago. So he's 38 now. This guy's a fucking nightmare on the internet. A fucking nightmare.
On the internet.
Yes. Quote, I think it's a lie. It didn't happen. He's that guy. The entire Italian-American fucking community of New York watched her bite a cop. I think it's a lie. It didn't happen. Okay. Sorry. Never mind.
Angelo in the moon landing.
You know exactly who that guy is on the fucking internet today.
There's a problem.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That guy's a guy who goes, COVID wasn't real. He's that guy. It wasn't even a real thing. Never mind anything else. It didn't even exist.
Never happened.
Never happened. It's not even a real disease. December 8th, which I don't give a fuck what your thoughts are, but the fucking disease existed. And if you
don't post that on the internet.
Don't post that on the internet. December 8th, 2000. She's having some problems. This is from the Times Ledger. Nicole Bass, the giant woman wrestler, is in very poor shape.
What?
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a weird opening line. She is hospitalized with a serious case of pancreatitis.
What?
An often fatal disease. It was first thought to be a very bad case of the flu. Worse, because, and I'm throwing this in, because she is a wrestler and all the other things she does, they go on to say worse, she has no health insurance and faces
I remember this.
Lengthy hospitalization. Yeah. Fans can send cards and greetings or small donations to help her, and they have a P.O. box in Middle Village here you can send it to. She's back by March, though, so she must be okay.
Yeah.
By March 2001, she's wrestling for CWF for the women's title, where she's winning the title, defeating Little Jean and Tracy Taylor.
In 3 months she's wrestling? When
3 months she's back in the ring. So that was December 8th, 2000. By March 23rd, 2001, she's defending her titles. So June 12th, 2001, there's a plea deal here via the New York Post. We'll get this. It says the world's largest female bodybuilder pleaded guilty yesterday to disorderly conduct, bringing to a close her bizarre Little Italy cop biting incident.
Bizarre, yeah.
Nicole Bass said as she walked out of the courtroom, quote, it goes away. Okay. A former wrestling superstar is a frequent guest on the Howard Stern show where she took a DNA test. She'll now have a misdemeanor record, but will serve no jail time under the plea deal reached just as a Manhattan criminal court judge was set to begin a jury selection. The conviction would have meant up to a year in jail for Bass. Cops said Bass displayed championship form last year.
Championship form?
Championship. That's the New York Post for you.
Yeah.
Yes. Punny cunts. Punny cunts they are.
Throw a little pun in there about a championship and a bite. Hell yeah.
They're every once in a while, one will be funny.
Yeah.
But most of the time, they're just terrible. Championship is not funny. The one that was funny, and we still have it, is Sarah bought it because it was so funny. It was when, what was happening was funny. The headline was funny. It was kids on Long Island. There was like a rash of high school kids that were fucking going around doing Nazi shit, like Heil Hitlering around the hallways and yelling at Jewish kids. And the headline was "The kids are all Reich," which was fucking hilarious.
Not bad.
Sorry, you were taking a sip when I said that. But yeah, the kids are all Reich. I was like, all right, that's a funny fucking headline.
That's because puns are stupid because. It's the lowest form of comedy because it's what dads do to try to make their children. Because the dad wants to say something dumb and offensive, but he can't because kids are in the room. So we try to dumb it down to them. You can't say the kids are all right to an 8-year-old and have them understand what the fuck that means.
Shit. No, see, that's why that one's a funnier one because at least you have to have some historical knowledge. It's not just a play on a word.
You got to get it.
Comedy works as a levels thing. Level one is puns. It's whatever the easiest thing is. If something sounds like jizz, you say it's jizz. You know what I mean? It's the very anybody could fucking do it. And that's if you're at a blue collar job. There's one asshole who never shuts the fuck up and constantly has puns and thinks they're hilarious and laughs his ass off at his own bullshit.
But it keeps him out of HR.
Yes. Then there's second level comedy, which is like open mic shit, which is like lame joke. Then the third level is the ones where like a professional comedian will dig further and go, that's cheap. That's not good. This is where it is down here. And most people don't dig that far.
Right.
Those are the ones that get you fucking done for your life. So they said that her lawyer said that he'd been prepared to show jurors that Bass was no biter.
Oh.
They said it's far more likely that you get teeth marks on your knuckles from punching someone in the mouth than from getting bit.
That's a good point.
So that's a good point. So that's what they were going to try to do.
I got a scar.
Oh, God, yeah. Jesus, I have a bunch of them from that.
I got one from punching my brother in the fucking mouth.
Oh, and none of mine were from family.
Yeah, we're trash.
We fight others.
Yeah,
that's different. Yeah,
for your family. Yeah,
That's our family teams up, and we are. Yeah, white trash fights each other. It's
we
different.
fight our family, and then we don't talk to each other ever again.
Yeah. We do
nice.
We do other shit. We were watching Dexter, and after the Trinity killer kills Rita there, spoiler alert if you haven't seen Dexter, after he kills Rita there, and then he wants to, he's pissed off, and I was like, imagine if somebody killed you. I was like, imagine. I just said to Sarah, I was like, just imagine how we would hunt somebody for that. And I named all my cousins that would help, and she's like, oh, they would absolutely help hunt. I said, they would totally help me kill somebody for
My
that.
family would just be thrilled they don't have to buy another Christmas gift for something.
Scratch her off Thanksgiving. She ain't coming.
That's one portion we don't have to buy.
Jesus. September 11th, 2002, female wrestler pins hope on court. Is from the Daily News. Get ready for SmackDown in Brooklyn Federal Court! Exclamation point! Fucking A. In this corner, coming in at 6'2", 230 pounds, is bodybuilder Nicole Bass. Yeah. In the other corner are Bass's ex-bosses at the World Wrestling Federation, now known as World Wrestling Entertainment, who she charges sexually harassed and abused her. Scheduled to testify, WWE honcho Vince McMahon and a herd of wrestlers. Yesterday, lawyers for Bass and the WWE squared off before federal judge Nicholas Scarafis in a battle over legal issues before jury selection. Although Bass had been assured by WWE executives that she would be treated like a professional athlete, the former finalist for Ms. Olympia bodybuilding title was subjected to numerous, quote, indignities during her 5-month stint in 1999. That's wrestling.
Did Vince shit in her mouth?
No, but I mean, they play pranks. They, peed on her.
I believe it now.
Yeah. She charges that the female wrestlers were accosted in their locker rooms while undressed or coming out of the show by male WWE or out of the shower by male WWEs and officials, which has happened. That's true.
Probably.
It's fucked up. Bass said that during a show in Florida, a male wrestler called her Mr., and later, when her back was turned, graphically simulated a sexual act directed toward her buttocks. He humped behind her.
In the ass? Yeah.
He acted like he was fucking her in the ass. Yeah. A week after the Florida incident, Bass claimed she was sexually assaulted by WWE manager Steve Lombardi. What? The Brooklyn Brawler? Okay. Steve Lombardi's worked there since 1983, and he was a guy who is known for, Jesus Christ, this is crazy, but he's a guy that's known for being, how do I put this?
Lewd?
Okay. No. Terry Garvin is an office guy who was known as a guy who would fuck talent. Male talent.
Yeah.
And they made fun of, it was such a known thing that Steve Lombardi was fucking... No, was doing what he was letting Terry Garvin do what he wanted to him so he could be in the WWE. That they used to make jokes about it on commentary. There's house shows that have Steve Lombardi on them wrestling, and they're talking about, he's a new guy.
Oh, yeah.
And there's one where Vince McMahon's like, he's from the Terry Garvin School of Self-Defense he went to, but saying it 100% serious, people think that's a thing, but all the wrestlers know what he's talking about. And he says, yes, a lot of, and Lord Alfred Hayes jumps in, he goes, yes, a lot of go-behind techniques and a lot of defensive from behind techniques you learn in the Terry Garvin School of Self. They're just saying this guy fucks him in the ass on television. And it was, nobody knew what they were talking about until later. So that's pretty funny. So I had no idea that Steve Lombardi even was interested in women. But aboard a flight to England for a No Mercy tour, she further charges that at another show, she was bashed over the head with a real guitar instead of a gimmicked one that was supposed to break apart easily on impact. That's a common thing because Jake the Snake Roberts claimed that he became a drug addict because Honky Tonk Man hit him in the head with a guitar. Meanwhile, he was a crackhead for years before that.
And there's a difference between being hit with an acoustic guitar versus, I don't know, like a fucking keytar.
Like a Gibson. No, it's an acoustic guitar, and Jeff Jarrett, it's his gimmick, and Honky Tonk's gimmick before that, and they're gimmicked like a motherfucker, these guitars. Right. They go in with a fucking razor blade and cut it all up, so when it hits you, it explodes. You're not actually doing it. But it hurts a little bit. All the guys say, you feel it, but it's nothing horrible. Right. But she says that they didn't gimmick it. And later on, all the wrestlers are like, it's a fucking absolutely gimmick. That's bullshit. WWE lawyer Jerry McDevitt argued that the crass hijinks were, quote, all part of entertainment clearly protected by freedom of speech. How the fuck is sexual harassment part of entertainment protected by freedom of speech? And the alleged
freedom of speech to say, I'll tongue fuck your asshole. Like,
I'm going to pretend to hump you from the back. That's odd speech. I mean, it would be freedom of speech if the government was telling you couldn't show that on TV. Right. That would be a freedom of speech issue. But
or if the government's arresting you for doing that.
That's different. That would be a freedom.
That's different.
Yeah. People,
if your job is shutting you filing, or, you know what I mean?
I get very annoyed when people mix up when they say freedom of speech and they mean consequences of speech. There's different things. Freedom of speech means you literally won't be thrown in jail for what you're saying. There's nothing in the Constitution that says everyone won't treat you like a cunt because you were a dick and you said some dumb shit. That's not in there.
There's nothing in the Constitution that says call a black guy the N-word, and when he doesn't get to punch you in the fucking mouth for it.
That's part of it here. McDevitt also claims the guitar attack was done by a female wrestler who, quote, didn't get the stunt right.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, September 18th, 2002, WWE is saying that this is all bullshit. Obviously, here they said dressed demurely in a black jacket and below-the-knee skirt. The 6'2", 230-pound Bass listened impassively as the WWE lawyer Jerry McDevitt trashed her as a no talent.
After skirt, Jesus.
Wow, blasted her as a no talent. McDevitt said some people don't make it and end up bitter, and I'm afraid that's what this case is about. She had very limited wrestling skills. She was counseled to get better at her craft, and she didn't do it. Now, I guess her lawyers here said there's a huge difference between conduct that was scripted and what happened. The sexual harassment she experienced was not part of any script. Makes sense. So they say the next up, a few days later, wrestler's teary tale of groping is a headline from the Daily News. They say big girls do cry is the first sentence. Jesus. The bodybuilder Nicole Bass got weepy at her sexual harassment trial yesterday as she described how she was allegedly fondled on a plane by a veteran grappler turned groper. Oh boy, that must be he must be talking about Lombardi. Bass took the witness stand in federal court to testify how life for her in the World Wrestling Entertainment Circuit was a nightmare of loutish behavior. She became teary-eyed and sniffled loudly when asked about a flight in the spring of 1999 to Manchester, England, where she and other wrestlers were scheduled to perform in No Mercy, which is what we said she was on that. Bass alleges that longtime WWE employee Steve Lombardi, who has wrestled for 20 years under various names, including the Brooklyn Brawler, Abe Knuckleball Schwartz, that's right, he was that guy, put a move on her during the flight that was clearly foul, is what it says. She said Steve Lombardi, reeking of alcohol, first tried to impress her with flirty lines such as make a muscle and feel my chest.
That's flirty?
That's wow, okay. Then as Bass reached over her head to stuff a large duffel bag in the overhead bin, she testified Lombardi moved in from behind and grabbed her breasts.
Oh.
Can't do that. No. I was shocked, she said. I was pressed up against the galley wall, and he was pressed up with me, pressed up with his groin grinding against me. I smacked him and pushed him off me. No one has ever in my whole life grabbed me like that, ever. That I believe. I absolutely believe that because you'd be terrified. You'd be like, this bitch is going to knock me out if I grope her.
And also, I don't know if you can. I don't know if very many people are capable of doing that.
Yeah, that's balls. Lombardi shook his head in the courtroom as Bass testified that he later threatened that if she reported the incident, she would get hurt in the ring, like he'd have to tell someone to hurt her. Bass also talked on the stand about other experiences during the 5 months on the wrestling circuit and described her role as bodyguard to Sable, here. Sable was what WWE termed eye candy, Bass said. She was very beautiful, but she couldn't take as many bumps as me. Yeah, she's not going to. Sable didn't get her ass kicked in there all the time bumping around. Bass said it was common for male wrestlers like Triple H and Big Show to barge into the women's locker room without knocking while she was wearing only a bra and panties.
Is that right?
She also disputed last week's testimony by Vince McMahon that she couldn't cut it as a wrestler because she had 2 left feet. Now, a lot of wrestlers said she had 2 left feet. That's a common phrase. She insisted she was a quick learner at WWE training camp where wrestlers are taught the fine art of falling body slamming opponents, pulling hair, and chain wrestling. It's a tango. It's not really fighting, she said. You have to keep practicing, Bass told her lawyer, or you get ring rot. Okay. Ring rot. September 25th, 2002. Jurors yesterday got ringside seats to wrestling's antics of angry Amazon Nicole Bass.
Holy shit.
Jesus, courtesy
They are just
of video.
trashing her.
Fucking, the first sentence is always, she's hideous. Anyway, here's her... What's happening? Juiced up TV announcers on the tapes roared that the 6'3", 230-pound bodybuilder was the monster and a freak of nature and a walking, talking female nightmare.
Oh, my God.
But instead of shining in the spotlight, Bass was typically seen on the tapes taking on minor roles in the raucous ring, including hapless bodyguard or girlfriend to famous wrestlers. Defense lawyer Jerry McDivitt claims Bass filed a sexual harassment lawsuit against the WWE out of bitterness over being fired because she bombed on TV. As McDivitt grilled the frizzy blonde Bass on the witness stand, he would frequently interrupt her testimony with videos portraying her schmaltzy shtick. She could be seen on the tape cheering on her partner, then stoically entering the ring mid-match to hurl an opponent by the neck to the mat. At one point, she climbs through the ropes to help her, quote, love interest, superstar Val Venus, but mistakenly smashes a guitar over his head. Promoters said the manly-voiced Bass has had one scripted line to repeat.
What was it?
Wow, one scripted line to repeat. Quote, I want your slide trombone in my brass section. In my brass section. Now, right now. She would growl at Venus. Yeah. Brooklyn federal judge Nicholas Garafis pulled the plug on WWE lawyers' video show when they asked to play other tapes of good wrestlers. The judge said, I'm not going to let you create a production to be shown in Brooklyn federal court. The next thing I know, you're going to be directing a steel cage in here. Next thing you know, it's going to be a fucking, literally a zoo in a wrestling match.
An actual wrestling match, and possibly some slide trombones in my brass section.
Yeah, well, maybe you never know. She said she feared retaliation after the Lombardi incident. She said she was threatened to be dropped on her head in the ring if she told anyone. But under questioning, Bass admitted her feet never left the ground in any of her televised matches. No, she wasn't getting body slammed. What? No. That wasn't happening.
Who can pick her up?
That's it. Yeah, other than the guys, there's not going to be a lot of, fucking Deborah McMichael's not body slamming her. The massive bodybuilder dissolved into tears as McDivitt grilled her on inconsistencies in her testimony. Bass admitted on the witness stand that her former lawyers artificially pumped up an earlier version of her lawsuit, inflating her income and demanding an excess of $120 million in damages. Bass claims that during her 4 months as a, quote, superstar wrestler for WWE, she was repeatedly subjected to unwelcome sexual advances and intrusions into the locker room. Bass added that she was horrified and disgusted when wrestler Shawn Heartbreak Kid Michaels once called her Mr. during a live spot in which she acted the part of a bodyguard to female wrestler Sable. And that's some shit Michaels would do on his own on TV because he was a giant asshole. A gaping, fucking pulsating asshole, and no one disagrees with that. Even his friends at the time were like, he was a huge dick back then. Huge dick. Now, here is Val Venus on her lawsuit, because I looked it up. I found a shoot interview where he's talking about this. And he said he was super pissed at her for filing it for no other reason other than he had to come and testify on his day off.
Oh.
And he's like, you don't get a lot of days off back then. You get like 1 day off every month or two, and I got to fucking spend it in court with this shit. He was pissed. God
damn it. Yeah.
He said that they talked about her getting hit with an, quote, ungimmicked guitar, And he says that she didn't have any issue with the guitar, and she didn't say anything about it until the court case. He said, I never heard a word about the guitar hurt her until then. He says, quote, they were erroneous charges, and she was just looking to get money. One thing that amazed me and kind of disappointed me, and that was she was always really cool and always seemed like she wanted to learn. But the reality is the extent of her athleticism was lifting iron and dieting. That was what she was good at. She had 2 left feet in the ring. She just couldn't get it. Some people just don't get it. And as much as I tried to work with her, to see her go from every moment knowing her super nice person to the way she comes across trying to learn it. But then in court, I'm on the stand and she's sitting right across from me. Never once did she look me in the eye. To me, it was like, okay, I know where this woman's integrity is at. It's in the can, deep in the garbage can.
Right up her own can.
Right up her own can. And she's trying to say that they fired her for something and she couldn't get it. And that figured when she was getting it. But the reason she got fired, she was given every opportunity in the world to learn, and it was just one of those things that wasn't working out. And on the stand, they asked, what were your reports to the office about her? And I'm just being honest, and I'm telling them I'm everything I can. She's got 2 left feet in there. A few other guys that were working with her too, same thing. They ended up getting rid of her, but she wouldn't even look me in the eye in court when she was so nice before. And that's when I realized, okay, there's an integrity issue, and she's using a company and lying in court, or she's suing a company and lying in court. So September 22nd, 2002, Daily News, a smackdown for good taste.
What does that mean?
There was talk about sushi and the gorilla stand, the gorilla position, actually, not the stand, sexual harassment and gender confusion. Not the usual fodder for Brooklyn federal court, to be sure. No fucking shit. So they said that, quote, you present yourself on national TV and radio shows as somebody who kind of enjoys the banter of being questioned whether you're really even a woman. That's what she's asked by Jerry McDevitt.
In court? Wow.
In court. She said it is part of my shtick, yes. So they went on with that. McMahon testified that the lawsuit alleging she was sexually assaulted and male employees routinely barged into the women's locker room is a smear on his family-owned business. My mom and pop tiny little shop that is literally the only large wrestling company in the fucking world because we just bought the one that Ted Turner owned. We're just a little...
So meager.
We're like a food truck, really. I mean, any... loss of profit. We're done.
We got diesel cost.
That's it, man. That's a serious charge from the maestro of raunchy storylines that have included gay bashing, mock crucifixions, and an 82-year-old woman bearing her breasts. A lawsuit like this is a dream for that company, said Shauna Sale, who co-authored Sex, Lies, and Headlocks, the real story of Vince McMahon and the World Wrestling Federation. It confirms the WWE is raunch, and everything that happens on camera is just like what happens backstage. So they're like, the WWE love this. Is just free advertisement for them. They love it. So, yeah, October 9th, 2002, the Brooklyn jury throws out the sexual harassment case of Nicole Bass. Said she threw it out calmly in federal court as 8 jurors rejected her lawsuit, which alleged she was subjected to all that. Bass sued for an unspecified amount in damages. She said, quote, I stood up for women. I stood up to a huge corporation. I stuck to my guns. It was very much an ordeal to me to have to go through this process. Mm-hmm. So she continued to make appearances on Howard Stern forever.
For a long time.
She didn't stop till 2017. Was her last
that right?
One. Yeah. Okay. May 30th, 2005. Here we go. She's having some problems again. Apparently, she got shit-faced and beat up her husband.
Oh? She beat up Bob?
Yeah. Well, here it is, 2005. Her husband said, quote, she started to hit me. I was afraid. Fair.
Yeah.
I said, please, I'm 57. I've had 3 heart attacks. I can't afford this.
Please, I've had so many heart attacks.
Please don't beat me up anymore. You're huge. I can't afford this. I was afraid for myself. There's no way I could touch her. She's 230 pounds, 6'2". She knows how to box. She's a southpaw, and she's a pro wrestler. Meaning, so it's like Rocky. No one wants to fight us. Even if I was a boxer, she's a southpaw. Like I'm worried about her left hook coming at me here. And she's a pro wrestler. There's no way I could go near her. She'd kill me. Mm-hmm. She said that I guess she has so pancreatitis still bothers her from time to time.
Yeah.
He said she had trouble filling her prescription for OxyContin. She's hooked on painkillers is her issue.
And this is in 2006, 2005?
This is 2005.
Oh, boy.
He said that doubled over in pain, she began drinking heavily to self-medicate. He said she was drinking a half gallon of vodka a day.
What?
Oh, no.
Half a handle a day?
Wow. He said she finally hit rock bottom and threatening to take a bunch of pills and slit her wrists. And her husband said, of course, she would never do either. She's a sweetheart. She wouldn't hurt anybody, but went on alcohol, ...
Anything's possible.
He said that he was so worried about his wife that he made a move to call the cops, and that's when she attacked him, which is a separate charge, too. You can't stop someone from calling for help.
But that's what alcoholics and pill poppers like
Yeah.
that will do. They'll attack you
They
because
will.
they don't want you to intervene in their...
They want to keep getting drunk.
Yeah.
This will fuck the whole thing up.
Wow.
He said she actually punched me a few times, threw about 4 shots into my chest.
Oh,
which,
my God. 4 shots from her?
Imagine she's a he and a giant jacked up dude who's 40 and beating the hell out of a 57-year-old woman. They'd fucking put him in prison forever. This is crazy. He finally managed to call 911, he said, and when police arrived, quote, she was as sweet as a lamb.
Yeah.
Turned it off
Very
like that.
calm.
Just like these domestic violence calls you see it on cops or whatever they show up. I don't know what she's talking. She's in there acting crazy. I don't know what's going. Meanwhile, you go in there, she's got blood all over her face. There's holes punched in the wall. I don't understand her problem.
Fell down and
wow. Then this is fucking interesting. He said that she accidentally bit an officer's hand on this occasion too. That's her go-to move. You go to her mouth, she'll bite your fucking hand. As she fell on the stairs and he reached to help her. She wasn't charged for that because it was like in a melee, but this is the second time in 4 years that she's been charged with biting a cop's hand. Something tells me she bites cops' hands. That's just the way it is. But the police sources said that Bass was emotionally distraught when they arrived and bit the hand of the officer who was wearing leather gloves at the time and he wasn't injured. That's why they didn't charge her for it because there was no injury. So she was losing it. Bass was taken to Elmhurst Hospital's psychiatric unit where she's going to be on a 72-hour hold.
Yeah.
Wow. It was the second time she has bitten a police officer. They said she obviously pleaded guilty to disorderly conduct here. Okay, here we go. March 24th, 2010. All right, now, September 1999 is when she brought the lawsuit against the WWE with Steve Lombardi and all that. October 8th, 2002, after the trial, the jury returned the verdict for the defendants, obviously. Now, 2010, she's proceeding pro se, which means she's her own fucking lawyer.
Finally her own, yep.
Submitted a 1-page handwritten submission to the court, which is also signed by Jonathan Lee Riches, Bernard Hopkins, Bernard Hopkins, middleweight champion of the world, Bernard Hopkins, and Randy Macho Man Savage.
In 2010?
In 2010. This is fucking crazy. So, the submission states that plaintiffs Savage, Hopkins, and Riches seek to intervene in the case with newly discovered evidence.
Oh?
Specifically, they seek intervention to present documents, exhibits, and photographs to support Nicole Bass.
Oh.
Additionally, Riches and Hopkins claim that, like Nicole, they were sexually harassed by the WWE. Who the fuck is sexually harassing Bernard Hopkins?
Not me.
He will beat the shit out of you. Are you kidding me? That's a bad motherfucker.
Yeah.
Not only is he one of the greatest boxers of all time, he did fucking like 8 years in prison too. That's a bad man.
He's dangerous, yeah.
He's a bad man. People have asked us to do his episode, but it's hard because he did his thing before he was famous and then had a great career. So maybe it's like a reverse crime in sports. We'll do it.
Happened before.
Eventually, we're not going to have many people left, and we're doing him. So eventually, we'll do it. The proposed interveners claim to have newly discovered financial statements, which call into question the court's impartiality in the matter. Mm-hmm. Interesting. They argue that recusal is appropriate because of the court's alleged financial dealings with the WWF. And they mean the court, they mean the judge there. Along with attending their wrestling matches and purchasing WWE sportswear. This guy buys merch. Yeah, you can't be the judge if you buy merch of one of the people in front of you. If you were a judge and we were sitting there and you have a "Shut Up and Give Me Murder" t-shirt, and you're sitting next to somebody who you don't know, we're fucking winning probably. You know what I mean?
Yeah. If you got if you got an Undertaker shirt on under your robe, there's a problem.
Yeah, there's an issue.
Yeah.
Because plaintiff and the proposed interveners appeared pro se in this matter, their motion must be read liberally and interpreted to raise the strongest arguments it suggests. That's the legal thing here. Therefore, the court construes the submission as two motions. First, Randy Savage, Bernard Hopkins, and Jonathan Lee Riches move for intervention under Federal Rule 24 of the Federal Rules of Civil Procedure. Second, plaintiff moves for relief from judgment under Rule 60 on the basis of newly discovered evidence and the court's failure to recuse itself. So, they're saying that, courts evaluating timeliness consider the totality of circumstances, focusing on a variety of factors, the length of time the applicant knew or should have known of his interest in the litigation before making a motion, prejudice to existing parties resulting from the applicant's delay, prejudice to the applicant if the motion is denied, and presence of unusual circumstances for or against the finding of timeliness. Okay, so they're talking about all of this shit here. They said the relief from judgment, I'm trying to find where the beef of it is, but I got a lot of the legalese in here just for fun. Plaintiff also argues that relief from judgment is warranted because the court failed to recuse itself from hearing the case. Now that is very interesting, I would say. They accuse the court, the judge, of having financial dealings with the WWE here, even assuming, meaning buying tickets, buying sportswear.
Right. Yeah.
Even assuming the plaintiff's unsupported allegations regarding the court's connections with the WWE were true, a reasonable person would not question the court's impartiality in this matter. Moreover, plaintiff points to no instances in which the court treated her unfairly or exhibited bias in presiding over the trial. Accordingly, her motion for recusal must be denied. Okay, so they say that their motions for intervention, meaning Savage, Hopkins, and Rich's motion for intervention, is also denied, and plaintiff's motion for release from judgment is denied. So everybody fuck off, is what they just said here. And the WWE attorney, when it came out, McDevitt, said that he didn't expect the appeal to go anywhere because the case is now time barred under the applicable statute of limitations. So there you go. That's how it works. The case was partially, 2013, Bob dies.
Oh, no.
Bob's suitcase pimp Fuchs dies.
Did she beat a heart attack into him?
He died at age 64. Here.
Wow, that's so young.
Yep, suffering from a heart condition. He died in his sleep. That's a great way to go anyway.
What the hell did this guy do that made his heart so bad?
His heart was no good. Even though their relationship was shaky at times, Bob's death exacted a heavy toll on Nicole. She was his nurse and caretaker for the last couple of years. And but though she mourned Bob, Nicole maintained a positive attitude and would find a second life companion after falling in love with her business partner, Kristen Maroney.
Wait.
Yes.
Really?
Yes, she is
She's a gal.
She's into the ladies. Yeah, now she's into the ladies. Now, I'm going to give you a minute of this. Did that to her. Maybe. I mean, who knows?
She may have been.
I have for you.
She got into stand-up.
Would you like to hear her stand-up comedy?
Yeah.
Any interest in that whatsoever?
When did she do stand-up?
This is from November 9th, 2014, and it's at the Comic Strip in New York, too.
No kidding.
Roasting Howard Stern's The Elephant Boy.
Oh, they had Elephant Boy get roasted?
And he's sitting on stage. You see him up there?
Oh, my. Yeah, there he is. Jesus.
The beginning of it's her making fun of him for not being able to speak well, which is pretty...
Very funny.
Very fun. Let me make sure
Some
the volume's
kettle
up.
Shit going on. All right.
So, yeah.
Everybody was asking my friend Colette here, who's one of my bodybuilding competitors. Yeah, Colette. Everybody is saying, are you Nicole Bass? She's one of my girlfriends. Colette, are those things real?
She goes up and feels her tits.
Nice. That's the one thing great about being a woman. I remember when I got my boob job, it was
you can see her whole titty.
To go up and go over to the women and say, well, what do they feel like if you get breast implants? I got mine pierced. Did you get yours pierced or it's just still the clip?
What the fuck is going on?
Richie gets upset because I'm always stealing his boyfriend. I didn't know what to say, really. I didn't expect to come on stage as, like, the infamous comedy club. That's our comedy strip. You gotta be careful. Comedy strip, comedy club, comedy arena. So many trademarks and whatnot that go around.
This is a mess.
I have my first date that I have had since my husband passed. And actually, I'm kind of happy that he passed because he's not going through any suffering anymore. But also, I get a free pass. And never to get married again. Holy cow. It's like, honey, make me this. Honey, clean this. Do that. But Zach, come up.
Is this therapy? What is this?
I bet this is comedy.
I won my first date with.
She's on her first date, and it's a guy.
Oh.
Zach went on my 50th birthday, and he was really upset.
Okay.
Oh, boy.
That's about, you get the idea.
Yeah.
I'm going to read you some of the comments, by the way.
Oh, boy. She's got
Here.
sweet tits, dude.
They're fake, yeah.
Yeah.
Here's one. She's actually really funny. I'd hire her to perform at my comedy club any day. Nicole should consider this as a new career move. What are you talking about?
Who wrote that?
Some dipshit. Another one here. Carrot Top sure looks weird these days. That's pretty fun. Wow. Wow, she's so funny.
What was there a did I miss a punchline?
There is no jokes. Even in the beginning, there's no jokes. There's a bunch of them. Herman Munster laughs. Somebody comments. There you go. That's
so bad.
A bunch of people going, she's funny. She should get into comedy.
What the fuck is going on?
That's terrible. She went up there and rambled for fucking 7 minutes and left. That's not comedy. So,
With
it's
hard
comedy.
nipples. Hard nipples blasting through a tight dress. You could see the whole areola and everything. How's their areola so hard?
That's what I mean. It's right there, popping.
I don't think I've ever seen the whole circle.
It's one thing to suck at wrestling and go home. It's another thing to suck at comedy because you knew you sucked at comedy and there was nobody else up there to help cover it up. And
there's a sign right behind you telling you where you are. She said the comedy strip, the
comedy club,
comedy club,
the infamous
comedy
strip,
the
comedy strip. Yeah.
Iconic comedy strip.
Yes. Unfucking believable. She's going to feel bad. And
she's a mess.
I mean, this now her husband's dead. He had to go through some stuff, all this stuff. I mean, honestly, Jimmy, I feel bad for all these people.
How many are there? Shit.
But not nearly as bad as I feel for Nicole Bass, research manager, healthcare public equities, and New York, New York. Also, Nicole Bass, restaurant and real estate investor. Owner-operator at Summit Zero, chief growth officer at South Oats Holdings in Salida, Colorado. We got her. And Nicole Bass, a senior attorney at King and Spalding.
I'll defend your balls.
I'll defend your balls. Well, her practice focuses on electronic discovery issues, discovery of your balls, particularly with respect to the representation of clients' matters and matters of product liability and governmental investigations. Okay. June 25th, 2015. Here she comes. She is arrested again here in Queens for trying to just steal shit from a supermarket.
Oh, she's so broke. She's stealing groceries.
Yep. Police said they arrested her around 8 p.m. after she packed up a bag and a shopping cart at the Stop and Shop with $1,045 worth of groceries and $159 worth of beauty supplies and left the store.
That's so much.
Piled high. Yep. They said that, and it's not like everyone isn't staring at her to begin with.
Yeah.
It's not like she's blending in. She was stopped by the security. She was stopped by the store security guard with 152 food items and 17 beauty items.
She got the most. She was supermarket sweeping.
She's loading up meat and fish. Fish is expensive.
She got the coffee. She got the diapers.
Fuck yeah. She's like, I can do it. Yeah, you got to get the beauty stuff. That's where it is.
Yeah.
You got to get hoses. Those hoses are like $30 Throw the hoses in the cart, you stupid bitch. That's what husbands are yelling at their wives. Oh, I love that fucking show. So, she is charged with petty larceny and criminal possession of stolen property. And the prosecutor said if she stays out of trouble for 6 months, the charges will be dismissed.
Oh, that's nice.
So they're giving her that because she had her psychiatric problems, obviously. She's had some issues. here. One neighbor said, I know she's a little down on her luck right now.
Oh, shit.
It's just not like her. It's not. It's really just too bad. I hope she gets everything straightened out. That's the thing. Everybody that dealt with her says she's a really nice person.
Yeah.
No one that dealt with her is like, she's a fucking bitch and a prima donna. Everyone's like, she's a nice person and you feel bad for her because she can't be the person she wants to be.
There's a reason Howard keeps people on this show. And first is they go along to get along. Good people that help create good radio. Howard keeps them around forever, to a fault too, because there are some that don't even have don't even make good radio. They're just they're a nightmare listening to. But Howard likes them as people, and he keeps them around.
That happens. February 16th, 2017. Her girlfriend Kristen posts a statement on Nicole's official Facebook page stating that Nicole has been hospitalized after being found unconscious at her apartment.
Oh no.
Yeah. Later that day, she was declared to be medically brain dead following a heart attack.
Wow.
Yep. February 17th, the next day, they say she's not dead, but will be taken off life support as new theories emerge.
Oh, that is fucked up.
Yeah. There's been a lot of comments from former wrestlers who suspected that drugs have been involved in her medical issues, which I think she's been on oxys for a long time, which is every other wrestler.
She was, James.
Yep. No shit. Yeah. So they said a few days, this is what they posted on her Facebook page. They said a few days ago, Nicole got very sick. She was brought into the hospital and they did everything they could to help her. I've been sitting with her in her room 24/7 since she got here, making sure she was being given the best possible care. Today we learned that there is nothing else that can be done. Wow. Nicole was an amazing woman. Now we're into was.
It's over.
Strong not only on the outside, but the inside as well. Beautiful soul and kind heart. Many people knew Nicole, but few ever got close enough to know the real woman that she was. I got to be one of those lucky few. And, so they said that, where I guess that they said that at first they said that before she passed, she had said and they asked the girlfriend, but she wasn't even dead yet. And she said that she thought of her as already gone because they told her there's nothing else she could do. A heart attack caused all this, and they said nothing else she could do. There's also questions, though, as to what caused the heart attack. X-Pac here, Sean Waltman, he said that he initially believed the medical issues might have been drug-related. He noted that Bass had been having a rough time in life since the death of her husband. And he said, I was making an assumption that maybe there were drugs involved, and that's not a good assumption to make. It's wrong. It's a pretty safe guess. Like if you're going to take a wild guess about someone in my industry dying, it's a pretty safe one to make. She struggled. It's pretty, it's 80%. So
it's a better bet than most. Yeah.
Yeah. She struggled the past few years. Her husband died and they had a really codependent relationship. They really needed each other. Mm-hmm. So, aside from confirming that she wasn't dead yet, the Pro Wrestling Sheet noted that it isn't sure whether police have investigated what happened to her. Then on the 19th, they finally announced in the paper that she has died. And they start out with Nicole Bass, the Queens-born bodybuilder turned pro wrestler and Howard Stern whackpacker, has died.
Nice.
That is fucking crazy. That's her. Now she is dead. This is a different person. I'm sorry. Never mind. She laughed at herself, didn't mind being a part of the joke. A great spirit, as someone from the Stern Show said. On her Facebook page, people shared stories about her and all this shit, and people liked her.
Yeah.
One person here, this is Kathleen Bernard, said, I met Nicole at a bodybuilding contest in New Jersey in the 1980s. I was so nervous to get up on stage, and she was so positive and supportive. She cheered and clapped from the sidelines, and that gave me confidence to complete my routine. I liked her spirit and can-do attitude. That's nice. That's very nice. Another woman said, I have absolutely no words. I was privileged to know Nicole and her late husband, Bob. She was truly a soft, beautiful soul, and I smile whenever I think of her. I'm so sad to hear she's gone. So, yep. July 11th, 2023. This is an excerpt from William Ginsburg article at ProWrestlingStories.com here. And he says, over the years, I've gone to her lectures, wrestling appearances, autograph signings, and most everything in between. I even got her on a stage to do stand-up. It's this guy's responsible. Yeah. She was a natural just being herself, and the road trips were always a blast. Yeah, not a comedy. Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? She'd rib and torment whoever was driving and laugh that huge, deep laugh of hers. Ha, ha, ha. Eating in restaurants was always a production. She inevitably had some special food complex diet that she was following and had almost a doctor's knowledge of food, nutrition, and the human body. Yeah, those bodybuilders are super fucking weird like that. He said, talked about them talking deep conversations. He said she spoke of her hopes and dreams and how she wanted to be a role model and mentor to kids and her frustrations when that didn't quite fall into place. One conversation always stayed with me. Evan, I'd love to come to your party, she confessed with a tinge of sadness in her voice, but I don't feel like being Nicole Bass tonight.
Oh, Nicole.
Yeah. You see, when she walked out the door, she had to be on, and everybody wanted that picture, that autograph, that Howard Stern anecdote, that little piece of her. And although she told me she loved Howard and his fans and generally took the jokes in stride, there were moments when the "are you a man" shtick wore on her. Yeah. To counter that, she just adored looking feminine and getting compliments on her appearance. It's not easy being different, she'd say in certain appearances. And I mean, yeah, she's fucking huge. They said
she looked like Dietrich Bader when Dietrich Bader dressed in drag in
yeah, kind of
Hillbilly.
yeah.
You know what I mean? She just had a big jawbone. Outside of that, she still looked like a woman. Jesus Christ, those tits are incredible, man. She'd love to hear that, I think.
Here's a picture of them from up front. They're very.
Oh, look at Jesus! Yeah, that's all titty, man. Jesus,
that's all titty right there. So they said Nicole had mixed emotions about wrestling. They said one of the things was the trauma of being there the fateful night when Owen Hart died and being expected to perform immediate. They said in a fog after he had been wheeled right past her before having to walk through the curtains. They were the next match, so they were waiting, watching.
Yeah.
Oh, Nicole deeply loved and ultimately became a caretaker for her older husband, Bob, who was also a unique and colorful, quite the colorful character. In his own way, he was her biggest fan, boasting of her trophies and awards, including winning the 1997 NPC bodybuilding championships. A former gym owner, he'd boast, Nicole can bench 315 pounds. Deteriorating for years from a heart condition, his passing hit her hard. And I think that's probably what it is here. They said that she'd have health issues. She'd be on death's door. And then months later, she'd be in shape again. Like just snap right back to it. He goes on to say she was special, wonderful, street smart, both fun and ever so funny, with the biggest of hearts to match her biggest of bodies. Yeah. She brought an awful lot of people happiness and laughs. I can still hear that big laugh of hers that made people's heads turn. I miss her every day. They're looking up like her net worth. She was stealing groceries.
Yeah,
she has nothing.
Nothing.
Can't get enough Nicole Bass. Well, you can get a ECW wrestling magazine pinup was in the thing of her with Jerry Lynn up on her shoulders in a fireman's carry.
Okay.
And she's way bigger than fucking Jerry Lynn. Like Jerry Lynn is a good wrestler, been around for a long time. I mean, look at she's like
so big.
He looks like a kid who's like fucking mom is throwing him up on her back. That's $6.29 you can get that for. Or a Nicole Bass signed WWE mat photo of, this is a big one. What is this? 1999. I guess she's in the ring. It's, wow. It's got her. It's got her autograph. They want $300 our best offer for that. What the fuck are you talking about?
What's wrong with them?
Yeah, that's fucking wild. So either way, quickly, by the way, that's Nicole Bass. And very quickly, Jared Hayne there, the rugby player who we've been going back and forth with, played for the Niners. He will not stand trial for a fourth time in the rape case. Prosecutors have dropped all the charges against him. They just gave up. It's 3 times he's been convicted and fucking appealed out. So they said, we can't just do this all night.
I can't imagine.
They said, we've considered all the factors, and it's fucking pointless now. And we keep putting the same people through it. It's bullshit. So there you go. He gets away with it. There you go, everybody. Well, we broke his balls for a while. Other than us, he gets away with it. So
he took a beating.
Yeah, he took a bit of a beating. So there you go, everyone. There is Nicole Bass. And a fucking very interesting story about, honestly, what seems like a very nice person.
Yeah, I wish she was alive to talk about it. And why do you keep biting people, Nicole?
Stop biting. Yeah, that's your go-to move. You can just rip their arms off. You don't need to bite them. So
I'm looking forward to getting emails from my friend telling me great stories about her, because I know he loved her. I know he did.
Yeah. That's good to hear. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to hear in the future. So there you go, everybody. If you like that story, definitely tell the world about it, especially leave a review on whatever app you're listening on. Fucking helps so much.
So much, yeah.
10 seconds if you have to sign in or whatever. Just leave 5 stars, say something nice about us. It doesn't matter what the fuck you say. Just say something nice. These guys don't suck is great. Terrific. Yeah. That's great. These guys are better than Nicole Bass's giant tits.
There it is.
Great. We'll take it. We don't give a fuck. Do that. Follow us on social media at Crime and Sports, also at Shut Up and Give Me Murder there, or at Small Town Murder if you want whatever Instagram stuff there. Do that. You definitely, certainly want to head over to shutupandgivememurder.com. That's where you get tickets for live shows, merch for everything. We have live shows coming up for Small Town Murder, September 20th, Minneapolis, but especially we have virtual live show for Small Town Murder, just like a regular live show, except you don't have to leave your fucking house. You can sit there with your tits out if you want. Enjoy. And you don't know what costumes we're wearing. Maybe our tits will be out. You don't know, but we're wearing costumes. Check that out. Buy all the merch. Shutupandgivememurder.com. Patreon.com/crimeinsports is where you get all of the bonus materials. Anybody $5 a month or above, you get everything. Hundreds of back episodes, new ones every other week. This week for Crime and Sports, we're going to do theme park disasters again. So popular, we got to do it quarterly because people fucking love it. Then for Small Town Murder, it's back again. It's been almost 9 months, I believe, since we've done one. Prisoner Dating Game is back, baby. Yeah. Let's line Jimmie up with felons from four young ladies, 4 young men. Only thing they have in common is they are violent, fucking convicted felons who are currently incarcerated. He's going to pick some, and then we're going to find out who the fuck they are, and more importantly, what they did. A lot of fun. Patreon.com/crimeinsports. And that's not all you get. You also get a shout out at the end of the show, which is right fucking now. Jimmie, hit me with the names of the people who would never, ever, ever, ever confuse our genders and cause us to bite them. Hit me with them right now.
This was executive producer are Carol Braun, who did a road trip with cross country with us. You didn't know, but you went, James. That was fantastic.
Shit.
Thank you, Carol.
We had fun, and thank you for stopping at McDonald's for me. I need a Big Mac sometimes.
Lovely.
Thank you.
Nikki Weed, happy birthday. Ape Man says so.
Happy birthday.
He adores you. Joy Winters, I'll tell you more about that later. Thank you, Joy. You're terrific.
Make sure to say that because it didn't sound like it. It's like, oh, boy, this crazy bitch anyway.
Not her.
No, she's not.
Jagger Rimini, thank you so much, Jagger. And Franny and Oz, you're the best. I miss
Thank you
so much. Other producers this week are Janice Hill, Dubrovko, Zaha for Donna. Oh, that's a donation for Donna. I don't know how to say Dubrovko's name, and I apologize about it. Other producers continuing are Aaron Donegan, Nicholas Hansen, Michelle with no last name, Jessica Emilijankic, Matt Duquette, Gwen Harrison, Margaret Richardson, Michaela Rurek. Is it Michaela? It is Michaela. Trier of Pods, Emery Delphi, Anthony Gallmeyer, maybe. Ruth Ann Marcel, wrestling fan. Dylan Ellis. You should be happy this week, sir. Or ma'am. Who the fuck knows?
We don't know. Who knows?
Dylan Pellis, William Reed, Keeley with no last name, Andy Stebbins, Katie Lynn Moore, Luna Mist, Candace Quinn, Suzanne B, Debbie with no last name, Christina Bolliard, Braden Jenkins, Sydney Wilhite, KC with no last name, Tom with no last name, Jenny Jones, probably not that one, but I wish.
Maybe.
What a show. God damn, it was a train wreck, and I loved every horrible
She was a decent comic in the 80s.
Yeah? And she had that weird guy on the show that fucked everybody. I forget his name.
She had the guy who murdered somebody, too, on the show.
Yeah, there was a guy that was on several episodes, and they dressed him as somebody else and gave him a different name, and he fucked people all the time. Sydney Hollendeck, Kara Scott, Adam McCarthy, John McEllouf. Oh, boy. Evolved Squid, Shanna Johnson, Lindsay with no last name, Michelle Shump, Ann Warner Smith, Cecilia Ashbridge, Bad Wolf, Terry Kincaid, Martin Behrens, Chris Bedmore, Carmel with no last name, Christina Blunt Jones, Chris Stone, Perry Holbrook, Laurel with no last name, Josh Gallup, Carly Smith, Summer Colangelo Keating, Krista Bax, Ressa Wilder, Rebecca Benai, Tara Kemp, Jessica Stewart, Dallas Johnson, Becca Kayla, Dice Up Games, Jamie with no last name, Katie Claridge, Big J Stutz, Courtney Johnson, Rocho.
Dallas Johnson sounds like a like a news reporter. We'll now take you to weatherman Dallas
Johnson in the field getting pummeled by this hurricane because he is the low man on the totem pole, and he'd probably be fired and shipped off to Tampa next year. Up to you,
We just hired
Dakota.
him, and he came in from Omaha. Come on.
Courtney Johnson Rochelle, Dakota Williamson, Ryan Whisnant, Marianne with no last name, I and S, the letters I and S, Scully with no last name, Andrew with no last name, Sandy with no last name, Ellen Hendricks, Andrea with no last name, Fletcher Ames, Ashley Strigler, Maggie Gorchukitchiga, Gorzi Zorgika, Curtis Long, Mike Jackson, Rebecca Grapevine, Me Lifted and Gifted, Patrick Dieterding, Kristen Basden, Tina with no last name, Lexus Holting, Hugh Hoyting, Sam Farron, Nick Brooks, Leslie Loves to Laugh, Anastasia Wilson, Ryan Williams, Stephanie Moschella, Cheryl Murnane, Cheyenne Eckhoff, Laura Hansen, Anita Shea, Heather Webb, Mike Pepper, Carol Spike, Smitty with no last name, Jamie Robinson, Tori Citro, Jungle Fever, I don't like that, Dustin with no last name, Liz with no last name, not that I just don't like the words.
I get it.
Shit.
It's a movie.
Yeah, it's a thing. Howie Cordoza, Jesus, God, right, I wish I didn't. All right, Megan Seiler, Robin Jody Marrer. Oh, is that? No, it's not Marrer. That's somebody else. What was her name? Remember Laura Murrer. That was her.
Yes,
all right.
yes,
Maybe it's the same family. John Brian Hall the fourth. Mary Bomey, Austin Jones, Doug Archie, Kay Bettendorf, Vev with no last name, Victoria Melson, Burr Town, Rick Giuliani. Ooh. Damn it, that's tough, man. Alex Eicher, Krista Bax. I said that. She donated both ways, or two times. Thank you, Krista. Rebecca Cuspert. Nia Anthony, Mandy Ratner. Oh, hope you're not fucking family of that other. What's that? What was that guy's name? Ratner? That fucking monster? Yeah, what a piece of shit. All right, Michael Sly, Jordan Castaneda, Julie Nylander, Jessica with no last name, Majen Emilio. Holy fuck. Brittany. Nice. Brittany Ann Nicole, Kevin Danon, Rudy Levernchick. Riley with no last name, Gloria Santana Alvarez, Kat Gray, Tim with no last name, Alan with no last name, Diane Borg, Morgan Marie Chaffee, Daniel Porter, Whiskey Biz. Oh, that's Bryce. Bryce, thank you. Mark Rouse, Trevor Dunn, Jeremy Thompson, B. Sobasinski, C. Note, The Goat, Danielle with no last name, Cheyenne Clark, Jessica with no last name, Alexis from Texas, because if you say Alexis, Texas, that is a very different gal.
People are expecting anal at that point. You have to clarify.
Nathan Guess, and all of our patrons, you guys are amazing, especially at Alexis, Texas.
Thank you, everybody, you wonderful, fantastic sons of bitches. We love you so much. Thanks for hanging out with us. Thank you. Folks. You're the fucking best. You keep this show afloat. Thank you for all you do for us, honestly. And tell your friends and spread the show wonderfully. Be the crime and sports movement. And if you want to follow us on social media, shutupandgivememurder.com has a whole menu. You can follow the links to all that shit. But then and until then, live from the Crime and Sports Studios, we will see you next week.
Bye.
If you like crime and sports, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
A few miles from the glass spires of Midtown Atlanta lies the South River Forest. In 2021 and 2022, the woods became a home to activists from all over the country who gathered to stop the nearby construction of a massive new police training facility, nicknamed Cop City.
At approximately 9 o'clock this morning, as law enforcement was moving through various sectors of the property, an individual, without warning, shot a Georgia State Patrol trooper.
This is We Came to the Forest, a story about resistance.
The abolitionist mission isn't done until every prison is empty and shut down.
Love and fellowship.
It was probably the happiest I've ever been in my life.
And the lengths we'll go to protect the things we hold closest to our hearts. Follow We Came to the Forest on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus.